ABC Sports Special.
Live from New Orleans, Louisiana, the 41st Annual Sugar Bowl featuring the Nebraska Cornhuskers and the Florida Gators. This ABC Sports Exclusive is brought to you by Cotton Incorporated, the research and marketing company representing America's cotton producers. Comfortable cotton, it's a natural wonder. And by Chevrolet, you're invited to see Chevy's lineup for 1975 at your Chevy dealers now. Chevrolet makes sense for America. And by Delco and your local Delco dealers nationwide who sell and install quality Delco replacement parts for your car. Well, this is the famous Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, Louisiana, and here come the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And from the other corner, the Florida Gators. The trophy for the winning team and the lovely Queen Rebecca Causey. You see four important elements that will be combined on this New Year's Eve evening in New Orleans, Louisiana for the 41st Annual Sugar Bowl Football Classic. Nebraska 8-3 on the year. Florida 8-3 on the year. The Huskers out of the Big 8 Conference. The Gators out of the Southeastern Conference. The first time these two teams have ever met. The second trip to the Sugar Bowl for each of the teams, and both lost in their only appearance here. Nebraska tonight will be trying for their sixth consecutive bowl win, and a happy New Year to everybody everywhere. I'm Keith Jackson, and I hope you'll pardon a little bit of embellishment on what might be called a fancy pair of overalls down here in the southern part of the United States tonight, but it's a most festive evening in the city of New Orleans as the Midwinter Sports Committee has put together another extravaganza. Thousands and thousands of people having come down from Nebraska. Thousands have come over from Florida, and an awful lot of people who just wanted to come see a great football game have come, including this very dapper young man to my right, the head football coach at the University of Oklahoma. And all you Oklahomans, Nebraskans, and folks down in Arkansas, take just a moment and slap your knee. Here he is, Barry Switzer.
I do think we look kind of pretty, don't you, Keith?
Larry Lacewell, your assistant head coach, said he thought all members of the staff ought to have those for pre-game dinners on Friday night.
Well, they know I don't have this hanging in my closet at home. I had rented this yesterday, and a guy from Godebo, Oklahoma knows that.
Let's talk about the ball game. The Nebraska Cornhuskers, an arch rival of the Oklahoma Sooners. Your team beat them this year, but it's a good football team.
Right. Nebraska has always been a great football team. They're a great tradition like the University of Oklahoma. Keith, they're led by the great quarterback, David Humm, the All-American, who I'm very happy to see graduate this year. He's a tremendous quarterback, and that's one thing that Florida will have to contend with tonight. David Humm is a great passer. He throws well. He sets up very quickly. He gets rid of the ball extremely fast. And he's got some fine receivers to throw to, especially Donnie Westbrook, who is probably the closest thing they've had to Johnny Rodgers in a couple of years. Of course, he only left there a couple of years ago.
Now, Florida. Can Florida, out of the wishbone, move the ball against this Nebraska black-shirted defense?
Well, I tell you, if you're going to have success against Nebraska, you're going to have to move the football. They are a big, physical, awesome football team. I talked to the Florida coaches today, Keith, and they said without question this is the biggest football team that they've ever played. They're huge up front. Fine linebackers in the 230 class. All their down people are 250 to 260. And you got a long afternoon butting these people out of there because it's a test for you. And the key thing, I think, in the ball game is how well they block lead and nose guard. Because in the wishbone offense, the harder your offense is the fullback play, you've got to get a tie or stand off sometimes with nose guard and win sometimes to move the ball consistently.
And, of course, how Florida plays defense to keep Humm from nibbling at him. He doesn't get too hungry. He just sits out there and picks you a little bit at a time.
Well, first of all, they do a great job with their offense. They're probably one of the finest sophisticated types of offenses in the country. In throwing the football, they use a lot of various formations. They move a lot of people around, and Humm automatics quite a bit during the ball game.
We'll have some more from Barry Switzer of Oklahoma later. Right now, let's join the Sea Chanters out of Washington, D.C., and the U.S. Navy Band and our national anthem.
Whose broad stripes and bright
Now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing from the University of Nebraska some outstanding seniors who will be playing their final game tonight in the colors of the Big Red. Number 68 from Omaha, defensive left end, Tom Pate. Number 45 from Bloomington, Minnesota, strong linebacker, Tom Rude, captain. Number 57 from Stillwater, Minnesota, weak linebacker, Bob Nelson. Number 29 from Chillicothe, Missouri, left cornerback, Ardell Johnson. Number 18 from Grand Island, Nebraska, safety, George Kairos. Number 71 from Whittier, California, offensive tackle, Mark Doak. Number 63 from Flint, Michigan, left guard, Tom Allward. Number 64 from Lincoln, Nebraska, offensive right guard, Stan Hegner. Number 73 from Toledo, Ohio, right tackle, Marvin Crenshaw. Number 24 from Fremont, Nebraska, split end, Rich Baugh. Number 21 from Cheyenne, Wyoming, wingback, Don Westbrook. Number 12 from Las Vegas, Nevada, quarterback, offensive captain, David Hum. And the head coach of the Cornhuskers, Tom Osborne. Now introducing the University of Florida Gators, some top offensive and defensive players. Number 67 from Jacksonville, Florida, defensive tackle, Darrell Carpenter. Number 99 from Fort Meade, Florida, middle guard, Sammy Green. Number 78 from Baker, Florida, defensive tackle, Clint Griffith. Number 55 from Coral Gables, linebacker, Ralph Ortega. Number 43 from Coral Gables, linebacker, Glenn Cameron. Number 35 from Sarasota, fullback, Jimmy Dubose. Number 31 from Marietta, Georgia, running back, James Richards. Number 33 from Sarasota, running back, Tony Green. Number 8 from Jacksonville, quarterback, Don Gaffney. Number 25 from Tampa, split end, Lee McGriff. And the head coach of the Florida Gators, Doug Dickey. The 41st Sugar Bowl Football Classic in a moment. Well, the old Crescent City is really humming on a New Year's Eve, and we're delighted you could join us here on ABC as Nebraska will receive, having won the toss in this 41st annual Sugar Bowl Football Classic. The split in as Nebraska goes on offense will be Baugh, number 24. The tackle on the left side will be Doak, alongside of Allward, the guard. Rick Bonas in the middle, number 54. Hegner on the right side, along with Crenshaw and Mushinski. Number 88 will be the tight end. The quarterback will be number 12. That's David Hum, the left-hander. Tony Davis at fullback. 21 is Westbrook, the wingback, and the I-back with a deep man off the I formation, John O'Leary. He'll be alternating with Monty Anthony. So the Nebraska Cornhuskers backing up in the white shirts with Dave Gillespie, a sophomore out of Saratoga, California, and Don Westbrook, all the deep men. The Florida Gators will be kicking off and kicking for Florida. It'll be number 3, David Posey. He's 5'6", 158-pounder, but he can really put the foot on the ball. There's the dangerous man right there, number 21, Don Westbrook. They're playing on artificial turf at 72 degrees in New Orleans, Louisiana. And the kick is high, and it goes to the goal line. Here comes Gillespie. Got a hole, breaks it open to the 25, 28-yard line. Fine return. Now let's have a look at the defense for the University of Florida Gators. Down in front, number 78 is Griffith, and number 67, Carpenter. Number 52 is Barber, defensive end, and Kendrick, number 9, of the other defensive end, with Green, 99, the nose guard. We'll get the rest of them for you. As you can see, the linebackers, Ortega and Cameron. And here's the first offensive play of the ball game from the 28-yard line. First down, Nebraska. Hum has him in the eye. Gives to the first man, Davis, the fullback, and he punches it out to about the 31-yard line. For a pickup of 3 is Glenn Cameron, number 43, makes the stop. Defensively for the University of Florida, Talbot on the left, number 28, as a cornerback. Number 21 is Tyson Seaver. Number 24 is Alvin Cowens, and number 1 is Wayne Field. Second down and 7 yards to go for white-shirted Nebraska at their own 31-yard line. The second offensive play of the game, and Hum's going to put it up in a hurry. Looks for Westbrook, throws for him on the sidelines, and he caught it out of bounds. Incomplete pass. It'll bring it back. It'll be third down and 7. And let's have an early comment from Oklahoma Sooner coach Barry Switzer.
Keith, their basic formation, they came out in 1st and 10 there. The I slot, they'll do a lot of things from that, Keith. Second down there, they came out with 2 tight ends. They did that against us with the wing set. Of course, a play-action pass. I tried to hit Westbrook on the deep out.
All right, third down and 7 for Nebraska as David Holmes sets. Alito is wide left. It is a fumble, and Baker drops on it at the 29-yard line. A loss of 2. Tony Davis drops on the ball. Tony Davis recovers the fumble as he ran right by the handoff, and Nebraska will have to punt on 4th down and 9. So the Cornhuskers are not able to move the football in their first offensive possession. And that is a very important thing, I think, for the University of Florida. The Gators are kind of chomping at the bit because they have been kind of put down as the definite underdog. Alvin Cowens is the beat man. Randy Lessman doing the punting. And a fair catch is called right at the 35-yard line for the University of Florida. So here's your Florida offensive front now with Lee McGriff, a little guy who will be the split end. On the left side of the center, it'll be Parker, 76, Stanfield, 77, Kynes in the middle at center, Lawless on the right, number 64, Williams, 63, and Elvis Darby will be the tight end. In the backfield for the Florida Gators, it'll be Gaffney, Don Gaffney, number 8 at quarterback. Number 31 is James Richards. Number 35 is Jimmy Dubose. And number 33 is Tony Green. They come off the wishbone. And here is Gaffney turning in the middle. He looks the pass out to Richards. He goes from the 35 up to about the 37, maybe the 38-yard line, as he seemed to be struck with a moment of indecision as he came to the center of the line. Now let's set the Nebraska defense for you. Along the front, it is 72. Mike Foltz, he's the biggest horse up there, strongest man on the team. Number 69 up at the middle there is John Lee, the middle guard. Number 91 is Ron Pruitt, defensive tackle. Tom Pate is number 68, and Bob Martin is number 87. It is second down and 7 for Florida from the 38. The ball goes to Richards. He's got a first down. He throws it big. He goes down to the Nebraska 45-yard line. He picked up 18 yards on the play. Jimmy Burrow brought him down.
Keith, that's not fair for a wishbone team to run those 2 plays. Throw the first play of the ball game, the second they break the wide slot, run the draw, play action pass.
He really blew that open, though, and got good blocking on the left side as he was running behind Lawless and Williams, and that's where they like to run him. Those 2 big guys in the trenches have done a fine job for Florida all year. First down, Gators. Gaffney hands it off in the middle. And the gain is down to about the 40-yard line. John Starkybaum made the stop for Nebraska. The rest of the Cornhusker defense, Tom Rood is the strong linebacker, number 45. And Bob Nelson, number 57, the weak side linebacker. In the secondary, it is number 26, Wonderful Mons Jr. Jim Burrow is number 2, Ardell Johnson, 29, and George Kairos, the free safety, is number 18. Here goes Richards again, and he slashes down to the Nebraska 36-yard line. On second down and 5, they're looking now at a third down and about 1 to go, and the Gators have come out breathing hard.
I bet they're not going to throw this down, Keith. They're going to come right at you. It's a pretty impressive drive of Florida here. They haven't really run the triple option series yet, but they've pecked away at them, and they've got some things going right now, and they'll probably stay with what they're doing. I think they'll be...
Gators in blue started on the 35-yard line. Ball goes to Tony Green, number 33. And Green, who had moved into the left halfback position for this game after having played right half, did not get a whole lot as John Lee, the middle guard, stepped across, filled the hole, and decked him. And let's have a look at the work of Lee.
John Lee's the nose guard here, 69. He's got great strength. He's 6'5", about 256, and he's going to be a key for him. You know, here's a play. They run the inside belly to split in. That's an unusual play for a wishbone team right there.
It's 4th down and a short yard, and the quarterback Gaffney dives for it, and I think he's got it. He poked his helmet down to about the 35-yard line. They didn't really have to go all the way to the 35, so it'll depend on where they put it. but I thought his penetration might have carried him far enough.
Biggest play of the ball game so far, early in the game, Keith.
Yep.
Be many big plays during the ball game.
Well, it's going to be close here, too, Barry. I'll tell you. Barry Switzer of Oklahoma is our guest commentator tonight as ABC presents live and in color from New Orleans a 41st annual Sugar Bowl Football Classic. Oh, that's close. He didn't make it. They missed it by no more than 2 inches. Well, he stuck his head in there, but he wasn't able to move the football. And so, Nebraska stops him and takes over. We have no score, 11-16 to go in the first quarter.
I'm wearing the sign of cotton. Look for it when you want to feel comfortable. When you see it on towels, you can count on them to be really soft and thirsty. When you see it on sheets, they'll be fresh and comfortable. On shirts, jeans, jackets too. Natural cotton makes you comfortable. So when you're looking for comfort, look for the sign of cotton. The more cotton, the better you feel.
I'm Walt Garrison. And you know there's times when a guy just can't smoke. And that's when I'm glad I've got Skoal. It's smokeless tobacco. Gives you real tobacco pleasure, but you don't light up. You just take a pinch and put it between your cheek and gum. And it sure feels relaxing in there. And man, I need something to help me relax.
For tobacco pleasure without smoking, millions of guys use Skoal, Copenhagen, and Happy Days.
We look down on the Sugar Bowl here in New Orleans from the airship Mayflower, the Goodyear blimp. Don Pascanak and cameraman Bill Sullivan up there providing that spectacular picture. That's one of 4 of the airships floating around over the world. And the Nebraska Cornhuskers just outside their 35-yard line have the football, first down.
Spread formation.
Florida with 6 men up front. And the handoff goes to Tony Davis, the fullback. Penalty flag is on the field as Davis works his way to about the 33-yard line. Sammy Green, the nose guard for the blue-shirted Florida Gators, jumped in there to make the stop, number 99. See him clapping his hands, and the call is going to go against the Huskers for holding.
Cal, 15 big ones.
Take this moment to introduce the rest of our cast, and they too are splendidly attired on this festive evening in New Orleans. Mr. Don Collison and Mr. James Lampley, you'll be hearing from them as the evening wears along. Terry O'Neill is with us, our statistician, and Jerry Klein is our spotter. We have 2 tight ends in there right now for Nebraska, Mushinski and Brad Jenkins. And the Huskers are sitting back at their own 22-yard line. First down and about 23. And it's O'Leary hit hard as he comes up across the 20 to the line of scrimmage. Ball came loose for a moment, but he recovered. Preston Kendrick, number 90, really laid some leather on him, and some of the numbers on these 2 teams for the season gives you an idea that certainly both of them are capable of moving the football, but particularly Florida on the ground. Gators have not gone to the pass with the frequency of Nebraska.
Chief, I've been impressed with Florida's defensive pursuit so far against the rushing game of Nebraska.
Very strong. They're in that 52 now as the ball is popped off to Westbrook. Westbrook, the wingback, getting inside, getting 3 good blocks as he works his way to the sidelines and goes out of bounds at about the 38, 39-yard line, picks up 15 yards on the play. That is short, however, of the first down because the Cornhuskers have to go to their 46 for the first down. So they're going to be looking at a 3rd down and about 7 yards to go. Call it 8 yards to go. 3rd and 8. So on 3rd and long, Rich Ball comes wide to the right side for white-shirted Nebraska. O'Leary's up in the slot. Tom looks at him, goes instead. The ball is picked off. Pass is intercepted by Ramsey Talbot. And Talbot comes back to the Nebraska 21-yard line. First down, Gators, 31-yard return.
Well, that's a big play right there.
Tom had his eye back, O'Leary, or in that particular alignment, his slot back, O'Leary loose on the short pattern, but instead tried to go deep.
He sprinted into the boundary, the weak side in the spread formation, tried to throw back on a deep curl all the way across the field to Baugh, and Of course, the corner squatted, didn't go cover deep third. They were playing 5 short kid and had 2 people covering deep, Keith, and the corner just squatted on him, made a great play, stepped inside of it.
And I felt all along, and particularly, and I think probably being a wishbone technician as you are, Coach, the most important thing for a wishbone team is to get out in front. And a handoff goes to Green up the middle. He's going for the corner.
That guy's got some speed. Hey, Keith, these guys aren't wishbone. They hadn't run a wishbone play yet. Well, they give the ball to fullback once. Wide slot and run the tailback draw to Green. Great running back. Freshman. Southeastern Conference Freshman of the Year.
Yard gallop by Tony Green, and watch the blocking.
Wide slot right here. They just the draw play, drops back, hands the ball with a fullback lead draw play, and Green is a great runner. He's a 4.5 speed. Doug Dickey thinks he's a tremendous football player. He's going to have a great future at Florida.
David Posey knocks the extra point through. We'll have another look at that touchdown play in a moment. Right now, with 9 minutes and 49 seconds to play, the Florida Gators lead 7-0.
This Sunday, ABC's Wide World of Sports, 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central and Pacific times. We'll be bringing you the heavyweight championship fight, Muhammad Ali's 8th round knockout victory over George Foreman. The champion will be with me in the studio, analyzing the fight as it took place, giving his inner feelings during the course of the bout. Also, on the same show, the 2nd annual World Series of Auto Racing. This Sunday, Wide World of Sports, 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central and Pacific times.
All right, Florida will kick it off. Posey will kick to Gillespie and Westbrook. The kick is short, bounces over the head of Gillespie, wiggles into the end zone, and Nebraska will have it first down at their own 20-yard line. And now let's have a look at that touchdown run by Green.
Here's a fine run here, Keith. You know, here's the fullback lead draw. He blocks the defensive tackle, the fullback. Green makes a cut to the outside here. He's got the 4.5 speed and shows some running ability here. He bounces outside here in the perimeter of the Nebraska defense and uses his speed right here. You think that guy's got an angle on him, but he didn't, did he?
He's only a freshman. All right, Nebraska. Let's see what they can do behind Hum. Give the ball off to Monty Anthony, who is another brilliant freshman running back. Hit at the line of scrimmage, spun off the stack, worked his way to the 24.
Anthony was the Big 8 newcomer of the year in the Big 8 conference, Keith. He would rush for about 600 yards freshman year at Nebraska. He was a newcomer in our league, fine football player.
Darrell Carpenter, 67. Vernon Barber, 52, pinched on the tackle. Tom Osborne, the Nebraska coach, on the sidelines. A very warm, balmy evening in New Orleans. Unbalanced. Ball wide to the left side. Pitch goes to Anthony. Cuts back to the 25, and good defensive flow by Florida. Kendrick, the man that knocked him down. 245-pound defensive end, number 90. Nebraska, third possession, no first down.
They've been impressive both ways. Offensively, they moved it 2 possessions. They scored on their second one with an interception. Now their defense has played probably more consistent than their offense has, Keith. They look fine. Both teams played a basic 5-2 Oklahoma front defense, 4 deep.
8 minutes and 45 seconds to go in the first quarter. Florida leading 7-0. Third down and 5 yards to go for Nebraska. Hand off to the fullback, Davis.
He might have it.
Tony's close. He's a tough little guy. You walk up to him, he looks like a little baby face, sort of a guy that'd be sitting up in a tree trunk looking over the fence at a ball game as he picked up the first down, but I'll tell you, he'll stick his head in there against anybody.
You know, he was a tailback last year, Keith. He rushed for over 1,000 yards. They moved him to fullback this year to give an added dimension. They didn't have a runner at fullback last year, and they felt like this certainly would help them. Having the 2 eye backs, O'Leary and Anthony, with the Davis at fullback, would add another dimension they haven't had.
First points put on the board by Florida. First point scored against Nebraska in the first quarter all season. So the Gators indeed surprised them. Here's Hom in trouble. Shakes off a tackler. Throws it deep. Melito is back there. Passes deflected and incomplete. And I'll tell you, Randy Talbot, if he'd been able to look up in the lights and find the football, would have had his second interception. Now let's join Jim Lempley.
Tony Green may have been one of the best freshman running backs in the country this year. But a year ago when Florida coaches recruited him, they had no idea they were getting a great running back. He played high school ball at Sarasota, Florida, in an offense that was all passing. And he only carried the ball about 4 or 5 times a game. First game this year, over 150 yards. Keith?
That's laryngitis Jim there. He's really struggling with it. Second down and 10. Tom threw that ball 61 yards in the air. He's going to put it up again. Has a man on the sideline.
Rushing route.
And he goes to Westbrook. He had Mushinski on the sidelines. The tight end open, and he went for Westbrook and missed it.
Hit him right in the hands. He dropped that one, Keith. Hum threw that one in there.
Alvin Butler, 38, defending for Florida. The Gators are in the blue shirts, and the Cornhuskers wearing the white, and Florida leads with 7:59 to go in the first quarter, 7-0, on a 21-yard sprint by freshman halfback Tony Green. The play was set up by an interception by Randy Talbot, who just a moment ago had a very good chance at his second intercept of the game and couldn't find the ball until the last second. All right, it's third down and 10 for Nebraska. Ball comes wide to the right. And the pass to the sidelines.
Did he drop that one?
Couldn't tell.
No.
Incomplete pass. So apparently didn't hold it or else caught it out of bounds. So Nebraska will have to punt it. Tom is 1 for 6 for 16 yards in the ball game so far, and the folks in Florida have made the trip to New Orleans love it. I imagine several 100,000 or a million Florida fans over this country like it as well. All right. Dropping back is Alvin Cowens, number 24. Randy Lessman, number 39, a sophomore out of Sioux City, Iowa, will do the punting for Nebraska. Gets a lot of heat, gets his kick away. Cowens going to bring it up. Call fair catch. 34-yard punt. That's below his average of 39 plus. 36-yard line. Florida has it. First down. Gators lead Nebraska 7-0. It'll be interesting now to see what defensive changes Nebraska might make against Florida, since the Gators have come out with some surprising moves out of the wishbone formation. Gaffney is the quarterback. Dubose, number 35, is in there. So is Richards. Richards, big boy. He's stronger and bigger than he really would appear. And, of course, Green out of the wishbone with McGriff split wide to the left side. Gaffney keeps the ball coming around on the option. Going to turn it in and took a wallop, didn't he? Oh, he took a hit from George Kairos, the free safety for the Cornhuskers.
I tell you what they're going to do, Keith. They're going to go to McGriff in a hurry with that safety supporting like that. I talked to them earlier today, and they said that they'll be quick to go to the pass, and I'm sure that they're going to come back in a few minutes with the post route trying to beat that safety supporting inside out.
Well, in the first place, Kairos is not that tall. He's only 5'9", and if he is coming up, he's leaving a hole back there somewhere, isn't he?
That's right.
They got double flank off to the right side, give it inside to Tony Green. And Green going from the 36 out to the 39 for about 3 yards before Tom Pate, 68, and Ron Pruitt, 91, make the stop for Nebraska. Right. Now about the Nebraska defense, sitting in the same formation as we take a look at Rude.
Here's the basic play of the wishbone offense here, Keith. The linebacker going to the outside is trying to take the quarterback in this case, and we have a fine block with a freshman halfback Green right there. Fine block. The quarterback then turns up outside that block.
Gaffney's going up. He's going deep down the middle. The pass is complete to the tight end, Darby. He caught it right in between two Cornhuskers, and it's a first down for Florida at the Nebraska 29-yard line. A gain of 32 yards on the play. So Darby, the tight end, makes a great grab, and Gaffney put it on the money.
I thought Gaffney couldn't throw, Keith.
He pretty good, much better than that, will he? He was right in between Burrow and Kairos. Darby is 6'6", 219. Burrow is 6-footer and Kairos 5'9". They try the middle with Dubose, number 35, the fullback, carrying it. Didn't get a whole lot, 2 yards out of the play. And so Florida continues to move the football.
You're talking about Kairos not being a very large player. You know, Lee McGriff, the split receiver.
Practicing on the sidelines. That's the first time I've seen that, where they've got a little screen down there. Yeah, just hammering the ball into the screen.
Soccer style. He'll wear that out for the gays over here. Put a hole in it.
All right, it's second down, 8 yards to go. The pitch to Richards on a sweep. Good defensive flow this time as Pruitt and Pate went with the play, and they got Richards after a yard.
They're running plays I've never seen in Wishbone. They run a quick pitch to the split end, pull the tackle in, Keith.
Well, it's obviously got Tom Osborne and his folks stirring around on the sidelines, too.
They run a kind of wide-open Wishbone here.
We've got 5 minutes and 25 seconds to play in the first quarter. The football is sitting at the 27-yard line. I'm going to call it third down and a short 8. As number 8, Don Gaffney, the Florida quarterback, sets him. He's back to throw as all day. Oh, he gets in trouble now, and down he goes. John Lee, number 61, fought through and got his man with help from Pate, number 68. Pate pitched in, and Lee came from the other side. He lost 4 yards. It'll be 4th down.
Get to see the Gab kick at something else besides the net here.
Well, it'll be a pretty good wallop because it's going to be a 48-yard field goal try. Buster Morrison will hold it, and David Posey, a sophomore out of Boca Raton, will go for the field goal. 12 out of 24. It's a low line drive, and it's too low. He missed it.
That wasn't partially blocked, was it?
No. I think he just hit it high. It sailed it through the hole, and that didn't get enough under.
Right.
So, with 4 minutes and 33 seconds to play in the first quarter, the referee, Earl Shostrom, out of the Big 8 Conference, waves it off as no good, and the Florida Gators lead in the football game by a score of 7-0. Look here now, the work of Lee, number 69, coming out of that middle guard position for Nebraska.
Getting a good pass rush. Fultz, Lee, fine play right here by Lee. 69.
And here comes John O'Leary at 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line, and the I-back gets no more than a yard as he runs into Green, Sammy Green, 99, Clint Griffith, 78, and Darrell Carpenter, 6-7. The middle 4 for the Florida defense. The Hula Bowl comes up at 4 Eastern Time this Saturday on ABC, and boy, have we got a roster for you in that one. For example, the East quarterbacks will be Condrich Holloway of Tennessee and Dennis Franklin of Michigan. The West, Pat Hayden of USC and Steve Bartkowski of California. I'll tell you more later. 2nd down and 9 yards to go. Nebraska 21-yard line. Huskers trail 7-0. Here goes O'Leary, busting it up the middle. He's at the 31-yard line. 1st down, Cornhuskers. Wayne Fields brings him down, a junior out of Gainesville. And the guards, Allward, Hegner, and the middleman, Bonus, the center, helped him get loose for the 10-yard pickup.
They're going to have some success in the running game, Keith, here to help their passing game complement it. That's the best run they've had on offense. O'Leary's in the ball game, Anthony out now.
Florida 84 yards, Nebraska 37 total yardage so far in the ball game with 3:35 to go. Pitch goes to O'Leary, and O'Leary gets a yard as he tries to slant the left side. Florida getting very good defensive flow from the front men. Vernon Barber, 52, made that stop. Here's Don Tollefson.
With me is Vince Ferragamo, who next year may very well be the starting quarterback for Nebraska. He transferred from Cal and has to sit out this entire year. Vince, what should we look for from your offense here in the first quarter now?
Well, they've been working on about 50-50 run pass, so I don't know. Probably isolation is probably the best running play.
In practice, you duplicated the Florida offense, playing the role of the Florida quarterback. Why do you think they were able to move the ball so well on your defense?
Well, I guess they have to, have a little chance to loosen up a little bit. They're a little bit tight right now, and they just got lucky on a couple plays, that's all.
Best of luck to you next year, Vince.
Thank you.
Keith?
Thank you, Don. Vince Ferragamo transferred to Nebraska from California. He is not eligible to play. We're not talking with a man who's involved in the game tonight, except from the standpoint of interest. He will, however, be eligible and go into spring practice and very likely could be the starting quarterback for Nebraska next year. He's a good one. 3rd down and 8 yards to go for the Cornhuskers. The ball is at just outside the 31. Hum has missed 5 straight passes now. David's got it in the air again, throws, and the pass is incomplete. Pass intended for Chuck Melito, number 89. He had to come back for it, and it was too low. So now David Hum is 1 for 8, 16 yards so far in the first quarter, 2:54 to play.
I think that was an automatic then, Keith. You might have noticed that Hum took a little longer at the line of scrimmage then. I think he audibled, and I think even if he had caught the pass, it would not have been enough for a 1st down. It came up a little short.
Alvin Cowan's 24, 180-pound sophomore out of Alexandria, Virginia. Deep wearing the blue shirt for the Florida Gators. The man to do the punting is Randy Lessman for Nebraska. Gets it all. Oh, that's a good one. Going to hang it up there and float it a little bit. Here comes Cowens up on one knee at the 30-yard line. That's a 37-yard punt, a little closer to his average. And back downfield, we have a penalty flag. Flag thrown back around the 35-yard line. And they're coming back. He's talking to the Florida defensive captain. Number 55 is Ortega.
Make him punt it again.
The referee is Earl Shostrom. The umpire is Harvey Hardy. The head linesman, Wendell Winkler. The field judge, Joe Delaney. The line judge, Doug Mosley. The back judge is Artie Falk, and the clock operator is D.L. Claiborne. And they want another shot at it, thinking perhaps they might get a run back as Nebraska draws a 5-yard procedure call. Snap is on the money. Lessman's kick is not too long. Cowens nailed at the 34. Goodness sakes alive, did he take a whop.
They had the return on then, Keith. The last 3 punts, there's been a pressure situation. They tried to block him, and they had the return on that time. They were only rushed 5 people, made him punt on the rhythm, and tried to set the wall up in front of the Nebraska bench, but he kicked the ball this side of the field. Fine tackle.
Rich Duda, the man who hit him. 37 yards on the punt. Watch Duda, number 50, come in here.
Well, that's some stick right there. Did a good job of just hold on the ball.
That's right. All right, it's at the 34-yard line for Florida. First down. Gaffney is your quarterback. On the option down the line, delivers it outside. And it is Larry Brinson, number 39, a 206-pound sophomore out of Miami, carrying the ball. Brinson has started some of the games this season, in fact, most of the games, but has had a leg injury. And it looks like Green, number 33, is down and shaken up on the play. It's not a leg. Somebody might have knocked some of the wind out of him.
He was the lead blocker on that play, Keith. I watched him make the block on the corner. They made a fine run there, picked up 8 yards. They've been able to move the ball with some consistency in the rushing game, certainly here.
So Tony Green will come out and get pumped up. It'll be second down and a long 2 for Florida, with the football sitting out just short of the 42-yard line. 2 minutes and 15 seconds to play in the first quarter, and Florida leading by a score of 7-0. Tom Osborne on the right, wearing the headset, head coach of Nebraska. Nebraska figured to be about a 2-touchdown favorite coming into the ball game. So far, Florida has pretty well dominated the first period of play. The ball is handed off to the first man out of the wishbone formation, the fullback, and he carries it for the first down as he reaches the 46-yard line. Dubose behind Stanfield, Lawless, and Pines.
It's been all Florida so far, Keith. They're very impressive.
That's a pretty decent average for those backs, starting backfield.
That'll make a bunch of first downs right there.
Yes, sir. First down, Florida Gators at their own 46-yard line, and we have 1:40 to play in the first quarter as Gaffney gives the ball inside again. I thought that ball might have been almost loose as the play went into the line, but Bob Martin and Mike Foltz were right there to jump on the ball carrier, and Dubose apparently had a pretty good grip on it. Florida's had their problems with fumbles over the year, covering about half of them. But when you're running out of the wishbone and out of the veer and some of these formations where the ball is moved at the last second, fumbles are not terribly unusual like that, for example, as the quarterback Gaffney held on until the very last second and then delivered the ball outside to Brinson, and Brinson is down to the Nebraska. He may be inside the 45. Gain of about 8 yards on the play. It'll be close to a first down. Let's have a look at Tom Rood, 45.
Right here, Rood makes a fine play on the boundary here. Kairos, 18, supported inside out and hit the quarterback. He made a fine pitch. The halfback made a good run up the boundary, but Rood had to stop him here and makes a fine tackle. Pursues all the way to the boundary. They're giving too much yardage, though. When Rood's got to come across the field and make a play that deep down the boundary, they're getting too much. They got to stop that.
And they did get a first down out of it. The ball is at the Nebraska 44-yard line as David Hum frets on the sideline. Here's Gaffney. In trouble. Oh, steps out of it. Now he goes down. Pruitt, 91. Got him. And save, you take away Pruitt, and Gaffney might have run for most of the night. Pruitt got him by the leg. Back at the 48-yard line. That's a loss of 4, maybe 5, closer to 5. Let's call it second down, 15. Well, they still haven't gone to that wide receiver McGriff yet. They went to the tight end. This time let's keep it on the ground. Green back in the lineup. He advances the ball down to the 46-yard line.
If they keep averaging 5 yards with that play, Keith, we're going back and put that one in, too. I think that'll fit in our wishbone.
Morgan Bob Morgan, number 20, coming into the fullback. And the quarter is over. Score after one, Florida 7, Nebraska nothing. The lights are shining over the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, Louisiana, and the Florida Gators. Third down, and about 12 yards to go at the Nebraska 46-yard line, and Gaffney whips it short. Ball is dropped. Forward pass, it is incomplete, intended for Brinson. And Brinson trying to run before he got a hold of the handle. He had some room, too. He might have got this first down.
He probably got enough that's gone on fourth down right there, Keith. They've been in four-down zone. I think they've probably been inside the 30, 35-yard line, and it might have gone for it.
All right, Burrow, number 2, drops back. Jimmy Burrow, Jr. out of Amory, Mississippi. In to do the punting, it's Buster Morrison, number 9, for the Florida Gators. He hits the ball from his 48-yard line, and it is fielded short by Nebraska's Glenn. We'll pick his number up in a minute. 30-yard punt, 7-yard return. The first quarter statistics. Mark Hydorf, the number 22 that brought the ball back.
39 yards. Nebraska. They got to do more than that. Let's see what they can do in this quarter here, Keith. That was all Florida the first quarter, start of the second. Let's see what Nebraska can turn around here. They're going to have to.
Well, David Hum is just, they've just handled him so far. He hasn't been able to find one man open all night. Actually, he's hit 2. He had the ball dropped on one occasion. From the 22-yard line, they take it up the middle, running right in behind Bonis, Hegner, Allward, and Crenshaw. And it's Westbrook, number 21. Westbrook is a tough guy coming back on that little counter inside. Very tough.
We'll probably see him later on, Keith, run the reverse. He ran a reverse 40 yards on a touchdown drive against us, and we'll see that, I'm sure, before the half, probably.
Ball is at the 27-yard line. It's 2nd down and 5 for Nebraska. 51! That's Anthony, the tailback to the 30, outside to the 31. He's going to be a yard shy of his first down. Here's Don.
Many college football players are fine students, but few, if any, can equal the dual performance of Nebraska's Monty Anthony's on the field and in the classroom. Monty Anthony is the first freshman in modern history to start for Nebraska, and he was the leading ground gainer for him this year. Meanwhile, in the classroom, he was piling up 27 semester credits while excelling in difficult courses like calculus, chemical engineering, and computer science. Keith?
Thank you, Don. It's 3rd down, a short yard for the Cornhuskers at the 31-yard line. Here's Anthony, wide right, first down, cuts it back, breaks it big, goes to midfield, goes to the Florida 48-yard line, first down, 22 yards. That was the most explosive move by Nebraska so far.
Keith, I think that was the first time that Nebraska has run 3 consecutive downs in the ball game. It's first 3 rushes they've had in a row, and they got some results out of it.
Rick Bonis threw a big block in the middle on Green. Here, just sealed him off.
Fine block, pitch sweep, and they walled everything off the outside.
First down, Cornhuskers, Florida 48-yard line. Florida leading 7-0, just starting the second quarter of play. Hum back to throw. Looks for Westbrook, throw short, it's intercepted! Intercepted by Kendrick, the defensive end. So a wide-awake defensive end was in the right place at the right time, brought it back 17 yards, and Florida's back in business.
Boy, I tell you what, that takes something out of you right there. Here they moved the football for about 30 yards, and they come up on 1st and 10, throw the interception there. Oh. Tell you what, Florida is playing lights out right now. Great job on defense.
Hum, 1 for 9, 16 yards, 2 interceptions.
Great field position. They'll take this, got a chance at 4-down zone here. Come at them 4 times. Just don't throw.
First down, Florida, Nebraska 33-yard line. Gaffney gives the ball to Green. Skips into the middle of the 30-yard line. 3 yards pickup. John Lee, 6-9. Principal tackler for Nebraska. 12:47 to go in the first half, and Florida leading 7-0. Doug Dickey moved back to his alma mater from a very successful tenure at the University of Tennessee. 2nd down and 7 for the Gators. It's Tony Green, fumbled the football. Nebraska's got it.
Oh, they say they even out, Chris.
Ardell Johnson covers it. Senior out of Chillicothe, Missouri. 27-yard line. Nebraska first down. Florida leads it 7-0.
When you say Budweiser.
There are maybe 6 million skiers in America, but only a handful who can do it like this. Being really good at anything has never been easy. The Budweiser people understand that, too. They're making sure that caring isn't just a memory.
When you say Budweiser, you've said it all.
100% cotton shirts and jeans are Saturday morning, comfortable and cool. A cotton shirt is Saturday night, comfortable and elegant. Cotton is a quiet weekend, warm and cozy. Cotton is a business meeting when you could be hot under the collar, but you're not, because cotton breathes. 100% cotton, the shirt and jeans fiber. When you're looking for comfort, look for the sign of cotton. The more cotton, the better you feel.
The Sugar Bowl in New Orleans with 12 minutes and 26 seconds to play in the first half. And David Humm sends white-shirted Nebraska to the attack again. As Ardell Johnson recovered Tony Green's fumble, John O'Leary is the deep man, Tony Davis is the short man. Baugh is wide to the right side, and Humm gives the ball to O'Leary. And O'Leary, patient, waited for a moment and turned into the middle of the line and wiggled for the better part of 3 yards. Sammy Green made the stop, 99. Here's a look at his work.
We're isolated on the nose guard here. Both are playing well in the ballgame, Lee and Green. Here's a fine play on the sprint draw to O'Leary. He makes the cut back, and the center overplays him the outside, and Green controlled the block, made the play.
Second down, 7 yards to go for the Cornhuskers. Humm, long count, may have checked off, pitches to O'Leary. The New Yorker takes it past the 30 to the 35, maybe the 36-yard line. He'll be about a yard short of his first down as Ralph Ortega, number 55, brought him down.
3rd and 1. I bet they don't throw here, Keith.
Well, based on the stats in the game so far, it would seem an unlikely thing considering the fact David Humm's missed the last 7 passes.
He hit one Florida player, though.
Yes, he sure did. Art Westbrook coming into the slot on the left side. They're tight on the right. Florida moves 6 men up. Now 7. Pitch it out to O'Leary. Turns it back in. Gets his first down. Penalty flag at the 40-yard line. Penalty flag is thrown out of the defensive secondary by the official. The gain was enough for the first down as Clint Griffith, a senior out of Baker, Florida, number 78, made the stop for the Gators. It looks to me like we might have a face mask call here. 15 of them. You know, Barry, I sort of like the rule the pros have in this. If it's an unintentional, it's less painful.
Right, that's, of course, a discretion call of officials. You know, that can, depends on who they call it on, us or our opponent. Keith, will I like that or not?
Well, it's the thing that sticks out there. It's very easily, if you're grabbing for somebody, to get a finger or a hand hooked in it. That's right. But it's automatic in college football. And, of course, the great worry is injury. Nobody wants to see a young man get hurt about that neck or head. It's first down. Nebraska at the 45-yard line of Florida. And the Huskers trying to get something going. Counted inside to Westbrook. Oh! He fumbles the football, and Florida recovers it. Just when it looked like Nebraska was going to blow it down the field, Westbrook hit hard, coughed it up, and Wayne Fields recovers for Florida. There he is, number 1. Here's a look at the linebacker, 43, Cameron, who knocks the ball loose.
He makes a fine play. They run the reverse. He starts one way with the flow, then has to go back, comes off that block, and makes the tackle, and there goes the ball. It was a fumble, and, of course, it's a big play for Florida. It looked like Nebraska might be moving to take that one in, Keith.
Just when the Cornhuskers were getting it together, they cough it up, and Florida has it. First down at their own 28-yard line. Gators leading 7-0. And Gaffney gives the ball to Dubose, the fullback, out of the wishbone, slants it up to the 34-yard line for close to 6 yards on the play. 11:09 to go in the first half. Starkebaum and Pate make the stop. Nebraska's turned it over 3 times now.
They're making too much on 1st and 10.
Second down, long 4. Here's a sweep with Tony Green, number 33. Runs out of the grasp of Starkebaum. Pate put him away out near the 38-yard line. Going to be a little bit short of his first down. Ball's right in between the hash marks of the 37-38. And let's call it 3rd down and a yard. Southeastern Conference in the Rose Bowl, in the bowl games on the road have done very well as Gaffney, the quarterback, turns it inside and gets his first down as he reaches the 42 before Tom Pate makes another tackle for the Cornhuskers. Gaffney, when he does get outside and is able to make his cut and get in there and make the turn, he's a pretty tough runner.
Keith, he's got pretty good quickness. He's only rushed for 188 yards this year after losses in a wishbone. That's not much yards for a wishbone quarterback, but he's got the quickness and speed that you look for in that position, this offense.
Ball is at the 42-yard line, first down, Florida. And it's Richards, number 31. James Richards, a 214-pound junior out of Marietta, Georgia, punching for 2. Tom Pate again makes the stop for Nebraska.
They've probably run that play more than any play this evening, Keith. That's a lead draw play. Fullback leading the halfback on the draw of the broken formation.
9.5 minutes to go in the first half now. Gaffney gives to Green, and Green is hit by Starkebaum and Pate. So 48 and 68 are making the bulk of the tackles right now for Nebraska, and Florida is going to be looking at 3rd down and long. The ball is at the 48-yard line, near the 48 of Florida, and it'll be 3rd down and 5 yards to go.
Big down for Nebraska. They've got to stop them here and not allow them to get any more field position because they'll have a long way to go when they get the ball to make another first down.
McGriff is wide left. Gaffney puts it in the air. The ball is slapped backwards, and it's an incomplete forward pass, and he was going for McGriff that time.
That was high enough in the air. Pruitt had a time to think about dropping that one, Keith. It would have been something if he had asked you that. You think he made it to the goal?
No.
It had a foot race for that quarterback. I think Gaffney would have won.
So the incomplete pass brings up 4th down, and they'll put it away with Buster Morrison, number 9, to do the kicking. And it'll be Jim Burrow, number 2, deep, to return it for Nebraska. Low snap, high kick, pretty good kick, hangs it well. Burrow, fair catch. And Nebraska has the ball, first down. 10 yards to go at about the 18-yard line. 35 yards on the kick, but very good hang time. 8 minutes and 43 seconds to go in the first half, and the Florida Gators still lead it 7-0. 18-yard line, a little bit closer to the 18 than the 17. They trail 7-0 with 8:43 to go in the first half, and Hum pitches to Anthony on a sweep. Gets it inside. He's out close to the 25-yard line. Glenn Cameron, 43, on the stop for Florida. The two guys that made that play work were Crenshaw, 73, and Hegner, 64, on the right side of the offensive line.
Sweep's been the best play for Nebraska so far, Keith. They've run it to the tight end and to the slot. It was the slot side that time. And Westbrook went the wrong way. Hum had to call him over the other side, or they would have been in trouble because he's the key blocker on the sweep.
Second down and 2. Huskers trailing, trying to get it going. Hum gives to Davis. Davis in the middle. Goes out to about the 28, should have a first down. Here's Don Tollefson.
It looks as though Catfish Hunter may have finally decided which team he wants to play for next year. A press conference is going on right now, and at that press conference, Hunter is expected to announce his decision. We'll have details for you later on during the telecast of tonight's Sugar Bowl. Keith?
Thank you, Don. That means old Catfish will get on back to his hunting come tomorrow. Stop all this talking. First down for Nebraska at the 28-yard line. This time Davis is hit at the line of scrimmage, but tough Tony bowls his way over the right side for 3, maybe 4 yards before they can get him.
But Keith, Nebraska's had 3 turnovers, haven't they?
Yep.
3 turnovers. They got to stop helping Florida. Florida doesn't even help the way they're playing. They've got to start helping themselves.
Ball comes in, number 24, at a wide receiver position now. Ball advanced from the 28 to the 32. It'll be 2nd down and 6 for Nebraska. And Rich Ball comes wide to the left. Westbrook is up in the wingback position to the left side. Oh, Westbrook's got it. But Florida smelled it coming and peeled off and played it very well as Preston Kendrick, 90, refused to give on it, chased the play to the sideline.
They played that play the way we did against Nebraska, Keith. Kendrick goes to the strong side. He was lined up on the slot side, and he keyed the wingback. The wingback delayed and started to reverse to the weak side, and he chased him, ran with him down the line of scrimmage, and made the play from behind him. If you got enough speed in your defensive ends, that's a great way to play the reverse.
We, in this case, being the Oklahoma Sooners, because you're listening to the comments of our guest commentator, Barry Switzer, the head football coach at Oklahoma. 3rd down, 3 yards to go. Hum puts it up. Intercepted! Kendrick's got it again. The ball was batted in the air by one of the defensive linemen, and then Kendrick snatched it up, and that's the 3rd interception of the night. And Kendrick's 2nd.
You know, I talked to Kenny Hatfield, their defensive secondary coach, before the game today, Keith, and he told me this guy right here is a fine, fine football player, and he's proved it tonight. He's made 2 big plays. They say he runs a 40 in about 4.7. He weighs about, what, 230, something like that?
Yep.
Fine-looking athlete.
Jimmy Fisher, number 10, comes on the field at quarterback now for the Florida Gators. First time we've seen Fisher. He is the better passer of the 2 Florida quarterbacks. 6:28 to go in the first half. And the Gators leading 7-0, have the ball at the Nebraska 37. It's Tony Green to the 35. So Fisher, number 10, is in there for the first time. He is a sophomore out of Tampa. There's David Hum on the sidelines. You know, he must be ready to start mumbling to himself where things are going.
It hadn't been his night so far, Keith. They've had 4. They won in the battle of the turnovers. They've had 4 at Florida's 1. Florida's had great field position.
2nd down, 7 yards to go for the Gators. Fumble. Fisher, fresh quarterback, comes in, fumbles the ball, and covers it. There's Kendrick.
Well, you know, Hum hasn't had any success throwing the ball tonight, but he's had some bad things happen to him. They've pressured him pretty good, and they've had 2 balls deflected, batted up in the air that caused 2 interceptions here. And I know he's sitting close to the line of scrimmage, and they're just getting too many people close to him to make him throw poorly right now. Got to get deeper or protect better.
The fumble by Fisher makes it 3rd down and 10. Fisher in trouble. Down he goes. It was a great pass rush by Tom Pate, number 68, and number 72, Mike Fultz.
You know, Nebraska is playing good defense, Keith. They've had the great pressure put on them. They've had bad field position, and they've played extremely well and forced them to punt into this field position. But their offense has been so inconsistent with the turnovers that just haven't given themselves a chance. They've got to quit that or they can't make it.
Burrow, number 2, is deep now for Nebraska. And Buster Morrison, number 9, will do the punting. Snap is on the money, and no rush at all. He kicks it high in the air, angles it for the corner. If he gets the right kind of a bounce, it bounces back into the field of play and bounces dead, and it's put down at the Nebraska 9-yard line, 34-yard punt. We have 4:41 to go in the first half, and Florida still leads Nebraska 7-0. The football has been placed right on the 10-yard line, where Nebraska, again, with very poor field position, will try to get something going. 4:41 to go in the first half, and Florida leading 7-0. Hum pitches the ball to O'Leary. Cameron, 43, right on the old breastbone. Nails him with a solid tackle as he gets it out to the 15-yard line. Here's Don.
The speculation has finally come to an end. This spring, Catfish Hunter will be wearing the pinstripes of the New York Yankees. Hunter, who played such a key role in those Oakland World Championships, signed a 5-year contract with the Yankees. He'll earn a reported $3.7 million. Keith?
Holy cow. Yeah,
that's better than coaching.
$3.7 million for 5 years. That is absolutely mind-boggling. Good grief. Well, more power to it. The football now in the possession of Nebraska is at the 18-yard line, and it's 3rd down and 2 right here. I can't either. I just can't believe it. But I guess if anybody around the game of baseball ought to have it, Catfish would be the man, because he probably means instant success for the Yankees. We'll see. Third down, 2. It's O'Leary. Got the first down to the 23-yard line. Cowens, 24, grabbed him by the feet. Gary Higgs, the fullback, came into that hole first, knocked it open for O'Leary to get through.
That's been their best play, the pitch sweep to the slot of the tight end. I believe they're automatically quite a bit to that play, Keith. They did in our ball game, too, and Tom does a lot at the line of scrimmage. You know, Florida's field position has been great this half. They've had the ball at the 33 and the 37 in this quarter, but they didn't score.
They come back to haunt them, too, before the game's over. First down, Nebraska. At the 23-yard line, it's O'Leary cutting outside. Runs over one man, and finally he is tracked down by Alvin Butler. And he's all the way out to the 33-yard line, close to a first down. Crenshaw, name Marvin. Penalty flag on the field. Watch him, 73.
73. Base block, he goes low to scramble him here, and O'Leary does a fine job of bouncing outside. He was going to run the isolation off a counter play, off tackle, but he bounced outside the containment and made a fine run. Got a penalty.
In the meantime, that penalty flag thrown back there at the... He indicated holding, didn't he?
I missed it, Keith.
Must be.
Offsetting penalties. First and 10.
So it'll come back for a second. It nullifies a fine 10-yard effort by O'Leary. So it's offsetting penalties. And the ball is still at the 23, first down and 10. With 3 minutes and 28 seconds to play in the first half. Tom flips it inside to Westbrook. And Westbrook struggles and gets to... I tell you, that play would just scare me to death.
Right. They've already threw 2 interceptions, 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, and they want to run the Utah pass. Oh, does that make you nervous?
He throws it right into a crowd. Of course, when it works, but there's a lot of folks in there reaching and grabbing for that ball, aren't there?
Of course, he could have gone 80 yards for a touchdown, too. Been a great play and great call. I tell you what, we better not call that one.
Phew. That goes back to Jack Curtis, doesn't it? Cactus Jack, wasn't he the guy that came up with that?
A bunch of guys a long time ago had that one.
2:52 to go. It's second down and 10. No gain on that. As Higgs, the fullback, tries to cut it back over the left guard and gets to the 25, maybe the 26.
You think Davis is hurt? The reason he's not playing fullback, Tony Davis?
I'll tell you, I saw this. I've seen Nebraska twice during the regular season, and this big fella Higgs, 206-pound sophomore out of Toledo. The times I've seen him, he's been a rather impressive athlete.
I don't believe he played in our ball game. We got Davis all day.
Call it the 25-yard line. Make it third down and 8 yards to go for Nebraska as Holmes takes it. He delivers it to Bob. Bob on a sweep coming around from the other side of the field. It's belted at the 33-yard line, maybe short of that. If he's at the 33, he's got a first down. But it's going to be close enough, I suspect, that the change will have to come all the way across the field. 2 minutes and 1 second to play in the first half of the 41st Annual Sugar Bowl Football Classic here in New Orleans.
I tell you, that's what makes coaching nervous right there. A heck of a business, Keith. When you move that football around, they're going to run it over there and measure the for a first down now.
Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
They've been moving it around. Ball boy ran over it, gave him a new ball.
Time is called by Florida.
Nope.
And it is not. Did Florida call time? He indicated. Yep. So time is taken here as the Nebraska Cornhuskers are about a foot short of their first down with 2:01 to go in the first half. So, a crowd sitting in the Sugar Bowl surprised as Florida continues to lead 7-0. Fourth down and maybe a little more than a foot to go. Nebraska's going to get rid of the ball as Lessman comes in to punt. And Cowens goes deep for Florida. High, good hanging punt. Fair catch called by Cowens back at his 29-yard line. And there the Gators will have it 38 yards on the punt Randy had a little bit of trailing wind that time that helped him some, and so here come the Gators now with 1 minute and 54 seconds to play in the first half. First down at their own 29. And Gaffney comes back at quarterback for Florida. I have the feeling, Barry, that Doug Dickey might have just put Fisher in on that last series to warm him up a little bit, get a taste of it in case he had to go to him later.
I think they're going to try to score here, throw the ball for reverse.
You can hear a lot of popping and cracking as Green goes from the 29 out to about the 34 for 5 yards on the play. And he got out of bounds to stop the clock at 1:47 to go in the first half.
Of course, Nebraska will be laying off here, Keith, but I would think they'll take a shot at this. Try the deep route, streak route, fly route here, post something with 2 wide outs. They're using a flanker set to bring in a halfback over 2 wide outs.
Richards, the wide man. They go back into the middle to Green, and boy, I tell you, there was a solid hit as Green tried to cut it back over the left guard. And number 91, Ron Pruitt from Compton, California, really popped him. John McKay, the head coach of the Southern California Trojans, and O.J. Simpson will be joining me at the Hula Bowl on Saturday at 4 Eastern Time on ABC's Wide World of Sports on most of these ABC stations. Gaffney gets it off. Pass is complete to McGriff, the little speedster. He goes back the other way and takes it to the 31-yard line. If he'd have stayed on his feet and taken it out of bounds, he'd have stopped the clock and picked up a little more yardage. He gained 35 on that one.
You know, this guy's only 5'9" here, Keith, and was a walk-on in Florida, and he leads the Southeastern Conference with 36 reception. A wishbone receiver leads the Southeastern Conference in pass receiving. Fine run catch by him here. Puts it 3-point range, Keith.
It's Green poking it in the middle from the 31 to the 28, maybe the 27, and it's Dubose, it was, carrying the ball. Fullback, and I'm looking to see Florida with 2 more timeouts remaining. Nebraska with all 3 of theirs remaining. Or 2 remaining. 2 remaining. So the scoreboard's wrong. Atta boy, Terry. Doug Dickey on the sidelines with his quarterback, Don Gaffney. This is a time where young men test themselves in that department called poise. Coaches too, huh, Barry?
Yeah, we get a test pretty good every now and then. I had one at Nebraska this year. We fumbled a kickoff. They're leading 14-7, and Elvis Peacock fumbles the ball on the 15-yard line, and we're facing 21-7 in the third quarter. That'll test you. But they didn't get. We took the drive, 180, got it 14-1.
50 seconds to go in the first half, and Gaffney coming back into the huddle now. 1976 Olympics will soon capture the attention of the world, and America's very finest athletes will be competing as members of the U.S. Olympic team. Here's how every American can help. Send $5 to the U.S. Olympic Committee, Box 1976, Cathedral Station, Boston, Massachusetts, 02118. All right, it is second down and 6 yards to go as Gaffney back throws. He's got a man, McGriff. It's knocked away at the very last second by Jim Burrow.
You bet he made a super play. Good gosh. Crossing route to McGriff again. The 5'9", 160-pound walk-on. Crosses the field on a deep crossing route, and you'll see Burrow. That's a touchdown right here. You're going to throw it in there. Here's Burrow picking him up, coming across, steps in front of him, lays out. Great play. That's on the 3-yard line. He catches that.
It is third down and 7 yards to go, and they pick it up the middle with Dubose to pull back down to the 10-yard line. And 39 seconds to play in the first half. 17-yard gallop on the play, and the man who led it was the center, Jimmy Kynes, who got off the snap of the ball and really opened that door. That was a great run by Dubose. I tell you, he doesn't look as big as he runs. He's 218-pound junior, but he ran over people that time.
Kind of fullback you need in the wishbone. Some big guy can hammer up inside and get that tough yardage, and you have to have the speed and the quickness to break the long run. A few of those guys around.
All right, Florida has now spent its last timeout. Gators have no more remaining, only 39 seconds to play, so they've got time for maybe 2 plays before they go for 3. They lead 7-0. 4 turnovers have hobbled the Cornhuskers in the first half. There's an old adage around the game of football. You turn it over 6 times, and you're lucky if you leave with your shirt.
Well, you know, even with the turnovers, you can't take anything away from Florida, Keith, because I think the score would be what it is right now without the turnovers, the way they've played. Florida's played outstanding the entire first half, and I've been very impressed with them. I didn't think they could play that way against Nebraska, to tell you the truth. Not just because I coach in the Big 8 Conference, too. I've been extremely impressed with them.
All right, Gaffney is coming back to the field of play. He's probably coming with a couple of plays. Here he might call a couple in the huddle. Might try to go with the second play with no huddle. The football is marked down for the record at the 11-yard line. First down for Florida at the Nebraska 11. Only 39 ticks remaining on the clock in the first half.
Break the wishbone, swing, slump, trip formation.
Green is wide to the right. Gaffney gets away from one. He's got McGriff in the end zone. If he can find him, he can't do it. Down he goes all the way back at the 23-yard line, and it was Mike Foltz, number 72. 15-14. They got no more timeouts remaining. It's a 40-yard field goal. Now, instead of having a chip shot, they've got to go 40 yards. Posey's got it up in the air. It's good.
2 seconds left.
So David Posey nails a field goal from 40 yards out, and only 2 seconds to play in the first half. And Florida jumps to a 10-0 lead.
You know, on that last play, they tackled Gaffney too soon. I think they let him scramble a little bit more. Keith, the clock would have run out.
Watch what might have been on that last play. Darby, 88, is the tight end. He's the one that caught that long pass earlier.
Defensive back fell down.
Sure, he's wide open.
Wide open. But he had people harassing him. He had to scramble.
And McGriff on the other side had gone to the post and then come back to the right corner, and he was free. He's open that whole time.
Everybody was trying to get the quarterback down.
That's right. All right, Posey rolls it on the ground with time gone. The play continues as Tony Davis brings it back up to the 49-yard line. And the first half of play is over at the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. And we have a surprise at halftime. The University of Florida Gators lead the Nebraska Cornhuskers 10-0. Here's Jim Lampley.
Coach Doug Dickey of the Florida Gators, you're up 10-0, and you probably controlled the game even more completely than that. I think you have to be pleased.
Well, we've had great field position, Jim, and our defense has played extremely well so far and not giving up any big plays, and if we can just keep that going, we'll be all right.
You said earlier in the week that the key to stopping their offense was to hold them to very short yardage on first down. Have you been successful?
Well, we've done pretty well at that, yes. We brought up third down along quite a number of times, and I think we've got to continue to do that to stop the drives.
The 3 interceptions would seem to show that you're reading their short passing game very well.
Well, we've had some, I think, some great individual execution there. Preston Kendricks jumped up twice and caught that quick shot that throws, and I hope we can keep on.
What worries you? Anything?
Well, of course, we haven't had any adversity to overcome yet, and if we win the game, we're going to have to overcome somewhere down the line and make a long drive in this game.
Good luck. Thank you very much, Coach. The Sugar Bowl is brought to you by ABC Sports. We'll be back with more right after this.
The 41st Annual Sugar Bowl Football Classic featuring Nebraska and Florida is being brought to you by Chevrolet. You're invited to see Chevy's lineup for 1975 at your Chevy dealers now. Chevrolet makes sense for America. And by Gillette, makers of the Gillette Track 2, two-bladed shaving system, the closest thing to a perfect shave. And by General Motors, maker of Chevrolet, Pontiac, Oldsmobile, Buick, and Cadillac, who want you to drive what you like and like what you drive. We'll be back in the field area to see the University of Nebraska and the University of Florida marching bands in just a moment. But first, I think we should have a comment, an observation from the head football coach at the University of Oklahoma, Barry Switzer. You've said now that you've been most impressed with Florida.
I'm very surprised, Keith. You know, it's not supposed to be this way. You know, they're a 2-touchdown favorite. Nebraska going in the ball game, and Florida's played extremely well. I know Doug Dickey's proud of the way his team's performed. He's had great field position, as he said a minute ago, but they've played extremely well, and I think Nebraska's had some adversity. 4 turnovers. Nebraska's had 1. They say these things even them out, but they're going to have to come in a hurry in the next 30 minutes because Nebraska's going to need some help, I believe.
Well, now, it has not been a matter of anybody overpowering anybody from a manpower point of view. I thought perhaps that Nebraska just might be physically stronger than Florida, but that has not been the case.
Well, they haven't been able to throw the football. Nebraska hadn't got the big play. They've got to have the big play in the passing game, and their passing game is so off tonight in the first 30 minutes of this ball game that they haven't been able to. They've had poor field position. They've started every time nearly 80 yards to go, and they've had something happen, some turnover. You only get the ball about 12, 13 times in the ball game, and they've already had 4 turnovers in the first half, and you only get it 6 or 7 times in the first half. So they've got to stop this. Florida doesn't need any help.
Well, I tell you, early in that ball game in the first quarter when Tony Green, that freshman halfback, number 33, went in for the touchdown from 21 yards. So that was impressive play.
Yeah, really, you can tell the guy's got some speed here. He bounces to the outside. He's got 4.5 speed. They're really high on this guy. You can tell he can motor here. They got the angle on him. Here's Kairos, 18, got the angle. He ain't got enough speed. Angle doesn't do you any good if you ain't got any speed, Keith. That's a fine play.
And then they kept their cool and got 3 more points with only 2 ticks remaining on the clock to lead at halftime 10-0. Now, what about the second half? What is Nebraska going to have to do outside of get that ball successfully through the air?
Well, I tell you, they're going to have to get it all together this half. I think, Nebraska came out in the ball game trying to throw the football. They threw them first and second down a lot of times, and then they got such poor field position, they tried to rush the ball. They tried to come at them and assault them, and they had some success, but they had a turnover. They put it on the ground. They had 1 good drive. Westbrook reversed, and they looked like they finally get the 4-down zone about the 25-yard line. Might score there, but they have a turnover, and they've killed themselves, and they're going to have to stop this. They've got to have some success throwing the football, and I tell you one thing, they're going to have to block Florida, but they haven't blocked them so far. The only play they've been able to have success with at all is the pitch sweep with the slot and the tight end. They haven't been able to run up inside.
Really true you're going to rent that coat when you get through it?
I think I can take it back with me. They're closed tomorrow, so I don't know what to do with it. What I do, take it back to Oklahoma?
All right. Barry Switzer of Oklahoma. Now a word about what's coming up on the American Sportsman. On the field here at the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans at halftime, our score is 10-0 Florida leading Nebraska, and you're looking at the Old Guard Fife and Drum Corps, organized in 1960. The uniforms, instruments, drill, and music authentic with those of the Revolutionary period. Drum major, you'll note, wearing a large fur and leather helmet called a light infantryman's cap. There is a badge of distinction, an 18th century weapon, and so on and so forth. Now, all of these gentlemen are out of the Old Guard, 1st Battalion, 3rd United States Infantry at Fort Myer, Virginia. Fife and Drum Corps moving off the field, a very colorful group, well drilled. In the meantime, there was a young individual who got caught in a circumstance he did not appreciate just moments ago. Fortunately for him, he had the wherewithal to flee, and he did so with a great deal of passion and quickness. And scored. He's gone. All right, now we move on to the next phase of the halftime spectacular here at the Sugar Bowl. This will feature the University of Nebraska marching band. That's Diane Tangerman from Omaha. She is the drum major. And the Nebraska band under the direction of Jack Snyder.
The new year.
so the University of Nebraska marching band, the Cornhuskers, look into 2001 for their first music. From Promises, on a New Year's Eve, how about the sounds of Philadelphia? I don't think any music in the Sugar Bowl would ever be complete without this music. And it'll feature Miss Diane Tankerman. The Nebraska Cornhusker Marching Band, and they will exit to the music of this day. University of Nebraska Cornhusker Marching Band under what amounts to almost full moon here in the city of New Orleans, Louisiana. And our score at halftime, the Florida Gators 10, the Nebraska Cornhuskers nothing. Some of the folks who have made their way from the rather cold country of Nebraska feel that way about it, I would think, because the temperature has been in the low 80s for the last couple of days. We'll be right back.
This is Jim McKay. ABC's Wide World of Sports travels across the Pacific to the land of swaying palm trees, tropical breezes, and sweet Leilani for the 1975 edition of the Hula Bowl. Outstanding senior collegiate football players, including the man who broke all of O.J. Simpson's rushing records at USC, Anthony Davis, will be featured in this East Against West All-Star Classic. That's ABC's Wide World of Sports, live by satellite from Honolulu, this Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time over most of these ABC stations.
Now on the field here at the Sugar Bowl, the University of Florida Gator Band. Frank B. Wicks, director of band. Assistant director is Gary Langford. Steve Heitzelman is the graduate assistant. Henry McLean, the drum major. Susan Waller captains the Gatorette Corps. And Rennie McKissick is the feature twirler. The Florida Gator Band moves on to the British 8th March. And after this will come all kinds of music that you'll recognize instantly as having been made right here in this old city. I'm always a little bit reluctant to say that jazz music in New Orleans has been composed because the best of it always just kind of happened. And to this day, when you walk down through Bourbon Street area, and through many regions of the city of New Orleans, you can still hear it. Same kind of a sound. Same kind of constant reach for something different in the way of jazz. And as the Florida Gator Band moves into its position under the British 8th March, that's the kind of music they'll be playing for you. Jazz favorites. That's some jazz music from the University of Florida Gator Band. sports finale, a look at football to remember, I thought, one of the great stories out of this great old American game involving one of the fine young men that I ever met with it, Brian Piccolo. Remember Brian's song? Here is the title song from the music and the motion picture of the same name, Brian's song. Brian's song closes out the halftime performance of the University of Florida Gator Band. And they were tootling away very merrily and happily because their football team is on top here at halftime by a score of 10-0 over the Nebraska Cornhuskers, who have been mistake-ridden through the first half. Now the Sea Chanters out of the U.S. Navy Band, the choral group from Washington, D.C., is going to bring everybody up here in the Sugar Bowl for this song. Exclusive of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television. We will be back for the third quarter with a score of Florida 10, Nebraska nothing. Right now, let's pause for station identification.
With me is Nebraska coach Tom Osborne. Tom, you've obviously had problems with turnovers in the first half. How much does the long layoff before a bowl game affect the team's time?
Well, I don't know, Don. Obviously, it's affected ours, and we moved the ball at times fairly well, but we had bad field position. We had a lot of turnovers that contributed to that. And, of course, this is the thing we've got to eliminate. Also, it looks like we maybe weren't as ready to play as we thought we were. We feel we're going to win the football game. That's what our players think, and we'll just see who's right, Florida or us.
Florida seems to be reading Davis Hum's passes very well. Why do you think they're able to do that?
They've got a big defensive end that's playing real well right now. Dave, I think, has been a little slow throwing the ball a couple times. A couple times he didn't throw it very well. But we can do better than what we have done.
As you mentioned, except for the turnovers, you seemed able to move the ball well at times. Will we see many changes in your offense this second half?
No, not too much.
Okay, thanks a lot, Tom. Good luck. Keith?
Thank you, Don Tollefson. This is Keith Jackson along with Coach Barry Switzer of the University of Oklahoma. And Jim Lampley is on the other sideline, dragging his laryngitis around. And we're a 10-0 ball game here with Florida leading at the end of 30 minutes of play. The Gators have just come back on the field wearing the blue. The Nebraska Cornhuskers, with the turnovers at halftime, shut out only for the second time in the season. Oklahoma State was the only other team ahead of scoreless at halftime. And there are the statistics. And the total yards now beginning to even up a little bit more. That's because Florida was unable to get anything real serious going in the second quarter.
I was amazed that Nebraska has outrushed Florida in the ball game. I didn't have that impression. But the statistic, Keith, that kills Nebraska right now, they've thrown 11 passes. They've had only 2 complete for 16 yards and
right.
3 interceptions.
All right, let's go back quickly to Don.
I spent halftime in the Nebraska locker room with the team, and the mood was one of quiet analysis. There weren't a lot of emotional outpourings, not a lot of fiery speeches. Coach Tom Osborne feels that his team can move the ball in Florida. He feels that we'll be able to physically move them out, and if they can just stop the turnovers, he's sure they can put more than 10 points on the board in this second half. Keith?
All right. Moon is still shining. We thought for a while, just about 5:30 this afternoon, we might get some rain, but obviously the rain threat is gone now as the sky is clear and the temperature remains around the 70-degree mark. Very comfortable evening in New Orleans, Louisiana. Mike Coyle is going to kick it off for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. He's a junior out of Omaha. Going deep for Florida will be number 33, Tony Green, and number 27, Henry Davis. Green is on the left side there, and Davis is on the right side. Davis, a sophomore out of Panama City. And, of course, Tony Green, who scored the Florida touchdown on a 21-yard run the first quarter, is the 180-pound freshman out of Sarasota. Along the front, Florida will open up as they did to start the game with McGriff, the wide receiver. And the rest of them reads Parker, Stanfield, Kynes, Lawless, Williams, Darby. In that order from left to right. Darby was most impressive as a tight end in the first half, and particularly so on that one long pass he caught. The backfield expected to be Gaffney, Green, Richards, and Dubose. All right, here's Coyle's kickoff. It's Green at the 9. Oh, almost fell down. Penalty flag down. Penalty flag thrown over here on the near sideline at about the 25-yard line. The tackle by number 83, Steve Weiser, and number 47, Jim Belka of Nebraska. So let's see what the penalty situation is as the official comes along to pick up his flag. A return by Green, where he almost stumbled and fell inside his 10-yard line. He got back to about the 17. And we'll see what the call is and how deep it backs the Gators. Looks like it might back them halfway, because I suspect there might have been a clip over here.
They play good defense right now, Keith. They've got the chance to get the best field position they've had since the first quarter of the ball game. They can keep you from making a first here. Force the punt. They've got a chance to maybe get in that 4-down zone with 1 first and 10.
All right, they back them up to the, well, let's call it, the ball is outside the 10-yard line, but it's pretty close to that 10-yard stripe, and that's where we're going to start them, at the 10. Gaffney is the quarterback, Dubose the fullback, and Dubose brings the ball up from the 10 to about the 16-yard line. A good gain running behind the left side of the line, Williams and Lawless, and it was blocking below the waist. It's only the 3rd time this season I've seen that call.
We saw some blocking that play, too. I tell you, Florida is really doing a fine job of blocking up front in their offensive line.
That's a gain of 6, a little more than 6, actually. It'll be 2nd down and a short 4, and again they go up the middle with it. And the gain is up to about the 22-yard line, and it should be a 1st down as Dubose, the fullback, hits in with authority, and here's Jim Lampley.
No halftime visitor to the Florida locker room would have had any difficulty telling that the Gators were ahead. Coach Doug Dickey told them they weren't yet firmly in command of the ball game, but they could be if they came out and moved the ball well enough to score on this drive. He wants them to score now. Keith?
All right, it's a 1st down for Florida. And again, the Gators keep it in the middle, moving from the 23-yard line where the 1st down was made up to the 25. Dubose, the fullback, again carrying the ball. He's got 52 yards now in the game. And he gets 3 on that one, a little more than 3. Gaffney keeps his time coming around the corner, turns it in to the 31-yard line. He'll be 2 yards short of his first down as Tom Pate makes another tackle, and that's a double handful for Tom in the ball game.
It looks like a play we run, Keith.
And you've got most of your folks back next year, don't you?
We've got a quarterback, Steve Davis, and of course Joe Washington, I think, the greatest running back in America back. We've got quite a few other people complimenting him.
Third down and a yard to go. At the 32-yard line, it's Dubose, the fullback. Oh, it is not either. It's Richard. As Gaffney faked me and several folks on that play, pitched it deep to Richards, and Richards turned it in for the first down. Crosses the 35-yard line. They may not give his progress to that point, however. He will, I believe, have the first down, and there's a penalty flag on the field. See it right there?
Against Florida.
And it's going to go against the Gators, no question about it. They're backing up.
That's the first time we've seen that play, Keith. The true triple option with the flare block for the pitch back, the halfback on the option play, and we got the ball pitched the first time in that series in the ball game. They've been leading the lead blocker for the quarterback run.
Illegal procedure on it means somebody was moving too soon. Normally, that's what it means. So make it a third down and long now. Third down and 6. Rolling back at the 27 as Gaffney comes down the line, keeping the ball, turns it in, goes to the 32, another penalty flag.
He threw that 20 yards.
He sure did. So we'll see what this one is. We've had flags flying from the very beginning, haven't we? And Florida's been getting all the calls. So the Gators come out and start making some mistakes themselves to start the third quarter of play after being relatively mistake-free in the first half. Previous indication, the earliest indication we had was a clip, and it looks like that's what it's going to be, too. So that'll back them up to the 17-yard line. Clip having occurred out around the 32. You watch number 56 for Florida in blue.
John Lee clips there, the nose guard. Good call.
Jimmy Kynes, the center, man. They keep it on the ground, give it to Dubose, the fullback, and he comes back to the 30-yard line. Well, they've been around that 30-yard line for quite a while now, as Dubose continues to find some room to run up the middle.
I tell you what they're doing. I'll tell you how they're doing it. Doing a great job of blocking inside. Florida has played extremely well in their offensive line tonight. Dubose is a good runner, but he's getting a lot of help up inside.
But the succession of penalties bring it up to 4th down and 2 yards to go, and the Gators will punt with Buster Morrison to do the kicking.
The guy doesn't line up very deep.
No, he does. He's just about 7 yards back there.
It looks like tight punt all night long. I guess they know what they're doing.
36 yards on the kick, and Burrow fair catching the ball for Nebraska back about the 35-yard line. And the Cornhuskers will open this way offensively. Doak, Allward, Bonas, Hegner, Crenshaw, and Moshinsky with Barr, the wide man. And the backfield will be and it'll be O'Leary instead of Anthony, Davis, and Westbrook. O'Leary. And the junior from Port Washington, New York. Takes it from the 35 to the 42. Alvin Cowan shoved him out of bounds for Florida. Gain of 7.
Good sweep to the tight end. Good play. Been their best play in the entire ball game, Keith.
You know, they run that play a lot, Barry Switzer, but they don't seem to run it as wide as some teams do. He runs almost a straight line.
They kick out on the corner. They're trying to go inside the end.
2nd down and a short 3 yards to go at the 42 for Nebraska. Florida leading 10-0. O'Leary again tried to cut it back a little, and he's going to be short of his first down, I believe.
About 3rd and 1, I believe. 2 sweeps in a row.
Number 78, Griffith for Florida, and Ortega, number 55, were the 2 men that jammed that play. They'll bring the change all the way across.
Nebraska needs to do something here, Keith. They've got to get some momentum in the ball game. Looks about 6 inches.
Now it's more than a foot. Better part of a foot.
You got better eyes than that guy.
Program is being brought to you as a special exclusive of ABC Sports. Let's pause 5 seconds to allow our local stations to identify themselves. 11:49 to go in the third quarter. The third down conversions reflected there. Nebraska needing about a foot. Maybe a tad more.
5-2 defense.
O'Leary got a stumbling start, but carries through for the first down at the 47-yard line. They're playing on artificial turf here at the Sugar Bowl. And it's first down Nebraska at their own 47.
3 runs in a row there, and they got a first down. Let's see if they come again. I believe they're going to try to salt and move the ball on the ground, Keith.
Cornhuskers looking for their 6th consecutive bowl victory. Tom gives the ball to O'Leary, rips out of the hands of one tackler, makes it up to the 49-yard line before he is brought down. Clint Griffith, number 52, and Vern Barber, 52.
O'Leary's hurt. He's limping back to huddle.
Griffith, 78. Florida has some size up at the defensive front. Griffith's 241. Green and nose guard 228. Darrell Carpenter 245. Barber, however, is 208. Not that big. Story on O'Leary so far in the ball game. Second down 9. They give him a yard on the preceding carry. Here's the ball. Bad pitch as O'Leary has to go chase it all the way back to the 35-yard line.
It's just too hard a pitch for O'Leary to handle there, Keith. I think Hum had a little too much on it for him to handle. Fake the wing-back trap, man, an option to the eye back off it to the slot side.
Number 90, Preston Kendrick.
I bet they wish they'd kept that one in the book right there.
Well, here's the big number 90 involved again. He's had a great ball game, Barry.
No question about it. He's a great player, great athlete.
Watch that number 1 Fields come up in a hurry now. You'll see him get involved here, right there.
Monster man.
Third down. They've got about a half mile to go. The ball is back just outside the 35-yard line. David Hum back to throw. Has time. Goes deep over the middle. Intercepted. He had Mushinski open and missed it. Cowens has it for Florida. Gators have the ball. First down, Nebraska 34-yard line.
4 interceptions.
He had Mushinski, number 88, is tight end. Larry just couldn't reach it. And so, with 9:50 to go, third quarter, the Gators are on the prowl again. Let's have another look at that previous play. As David Hum had his intended receiver open and just flat missed it.
They're playing too deep here. They're playing 5 short zone, and the tight end is open, but he laid the ball up, overthrows him here. He threw a high, soft lob pass. You see it go over the tight end. Fine interception here, and of course the 4th one of the ball game.
Here come the Gators, first down at the Nebraska 34-yard line, leading 10-0. Pitch back to Tony Green. He's down inside the 25 to about the 24. And it could be a first down. David Hum, in his career, 1974, for example, he's had 4 passes intercepted tonight during the whole season. He only had 8 intercepted. And during his career, he's only had a total of 36 intercepted.
This is the worst David Hum has probably played in his career at Nebraska, and he's had a tremendous career. He's a great football player, Keith, and he's won a lot of football games for him, but that happens to you.
Terry Luck, number 11, warming up on the sideline, so they may rest David on the next series. We'll see. It's just a shame to see what I think is a brilliant football player have such a bad night under such circumstances. They brought the chains across the field. And you did not hear the explosion of despair for naught because it's a first down as the Nebraska folks now beginning to hold their breath as Florida grinds it along from the 24 to Dubose. And he's down to the 20, maybe inside the 20. There's Luck, Terry Luck. There's a youngster who's had some injury troubles at Nebraska. A lot of people thought he was going to be a tremendous football player, but
Terry Luck's had some bad luck.
Yep. 3 knee operations, I'd call that bad luck. Second down and 6.
It's great pursuit with Nebraska there. They're going to have to dig in right here because they're in trouble.
Tom Osborne walking the sidelines. Tom Pate again involved in that stop along with George Kairos, the safety. Florida backfield is Green, 33, Gaffney, 8, Richards, James Richards, 31, and Jimmy Dubose, number 35. I think that Dubose has been a surprise in this ball game, Barry.
He's helped. He's made big plays when they needed him. He nearly made a long 3rd and 18 a while ago. Came up 2 yards short.
He's picked up
Break your formation.
69 yards so far. Here's the handoff to Tony Green. Slides around the corner. Look out! Touchdown! Great run, an absolutely spectacular run.
Don't do that. That's a penalty.
Yeah, you almost threw that ball in the stand.
He was either going to spike it or throw it in the stands. That's a great run. He's just a freshman. Sarasota, Florida.
Oh, my goodness. That was absolutely an incredible effort by Tony Green. 18-yard run. I don't know how in the world he stayed in bounds, but he did.
They broke their formation on that play, Keith. They had 2 wide out to the left, the wide side of the field, and they had him lined up in the flanker, and they ran a halfback reverse.
Here it is. Florida's going for 2. They give it away to Richards. And
he stepped out.
Did he step out of bounds?
Yes, out of bounds.
Oh, now we get the call. Oh. So we take away that touchdown that we had so deliriously called there for a moment and bring it back to the 6. Where are they going to put it? 7-yard line. He lost yardage on that play. He went out at the 5, they say. We'll have a look at that run in a moment as soon as we have a chance. Now they back it up to the 7, where it's 2nd down and goal to go. Here's Green again. Hunting, and he goes to the 1. Somebody caught him by the shirt tail and jerked him backwards.
3rd and goal at the 1. I bet they don't throw, Keith.
I certainly wouldn't think so, the way they're blowing holes up front.
That's the power sweep into the tight end side. They gave it to the right guy.
Now we'll get a time here by Florida. So, we've got a timeout with 7 minutes and 58 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter of play. And Florida leading 10-0, looking for some more. The nose of the football is just about touching the Nebraska 1-yard line. And the Huskers are just going to stuff everybody right in the middle and try to hold on here. And you've got to figure that's where Florida's going to go. On 3rd down and goal to go.
Quarterback asked Earl Shostrom for quiet, I believe, here. He couldn't hear the cadence.
Let's watch that run now by Green. See if we can pick up where he stepped out.
Pull both guards. They had 3 backs lined up the left side, and they run a halfback reverse. He steps out right here, Keith. I believe you see it. And it's a good call by the official. You see his right foot go out on the 5-yard line, about the 4.5-yard line right there. But he makes a great run. He tight ropes down the sidelines and gets it in the end zone. I thought he had scored.
All right, here we go. 3rd down, goal to go from just outside the 1. Dubose. Oh, didn't make it.
I don't believe. Great defensive play by the whole front of the Nebraska line there. Linebackers made a fine play.
Nelson and Mons in particular. Wonder Mons came right in and stuck him right in the gizzard and would not give an inch. There you see the...
I tell you what, you don't... I'd run a play they can't run. I'd turn hand it to Joe Washington here. They don't have Joe Washington, but I bet they turn hand it to Green. What do you say? Got to go for it.
But do you go straight or do you slant it? It's Richards. Didn't make it. Nebraska holds him. Jim Burrow, number 2, got his man.
Boy, that's a great play. Nebraska. We talk about poor field position, but they'll take it right there, Keith.
Yes, sir.
Just get the football. 99.5 yards to go.
So from what appeared to be an apparent touchdown, which would have given Florida a big lead in the 3rd quarter, Tony Green detected stepping on the sidelines. And now, the Cornhuskers have it. Florida has had the ball at the Nebraska 34, the 37, the 34, and they have failed to produce points out of those points of possession. That's an important thing to remember.
Hold on to that football, Tony Davis. He's going. Watch out. They whistled him down.
They whistled him dead, and he's hollering up a storm about it. Terry Luck is in the ball game at quarterback for Nebraska, and it looked like Davis might pop out of there and go hunting.
Keith, we had a foot race right then.
Davis will fool you. He's quicker than you think. Here's that 4th down play. Watch it. Florida was only a foot away from scoring. They decided to go wide to Richards.
To the split inside. pitched the ball, came up a yard short.
Jimmy Burrow, number 2, made the stop. All right, the football now is out at the 7-yard line. Nebraska's ball. Terry Luck, number 11, the quarterback. He gives it to Monty Anthony, the freshman tailback, or the I-back, and he doesn't get much on the play as he surges up maybe to the 9-yard line.
Last play with the fullback leading on the linebacker. They picked up short yardage here.
Well, that's a heck of a turnaround, you know, Barry, from the standpoint of having, that might turn out to be the play that haunts one of these. Well, Florida's the only one that's got to haunt, but Nebraska.
We're going to find out in the next few plays whether it will.
Really
Nebraska takes this and does something with it. It certainly will.
All right, it's 3rd down, about 1.5 yards for the first down at the 9. It's Anthony. He's got the first down as he gets it up to the 20, 21-yard line. Gain 12. Cowens, the tackle.
You know, they ran the pitch sweep into the tight end that time, Keith, and Florida was anticipating it. The linebackers cheated over Ortega at the last second, cheated over and tried to run through. You'll see him move to the outside right here.
See Cameron on the blitz.
Excuse me, Cameron. Both played at the same high school. Both Gable, Florida.
All right, first down, Nebraska, just outside the 21. And Luck gives to Tony Davis. And they bang it in the middle for about 3 yards. Here's Don Tollefson.
This year, the guest of honor at the Sugar Bowl basketball tournament was a man who, during his 42 years at the University of Kentucky, won more games than anyone else in the history of college basketball. Adolph Rupp, over all those years, did you have a chance to watch many football games?
Oh, yes. I attended every football game that the university played. I made many of the trips with the team away from home. I got to see a lot of them, yes.
Postseason playoffs have generated so much enthusiasm in college basketball. Would you like to see the same kind of system in college football?
Yes, I would. I like this playoff. Yes, I would. I tell you, this Sugar Bowl tournament has done a wonderful thing for college basketball. And I'd like to see the same thing in football the way we have in basketball. We had 4 great teams down here this year. And I'd like to see the same great teams come down here that used to come down here.
Adolph, you brought a lot of excitement to a lot of sports fans, and I want to congratulate you.
Thank you. I've had a lot of fun doing it, and I enjoyed every minute of it.
Great.
Thank you.
Keith?
All right, Monty Anthony dropped for a loss. Ball now as Buck gives it off to Tony Davis, and Davis is all the way out across the 30 to the 34-yard line, the 33-yard line. They'll put it down for 11 yards, and it's a Nebraska first down. So suddenly Tony Davis, with Terry Luck in there at quarterback, becomes the man of the moment for Nebraska.
They've come a long way already, Chris. Keith, Chris. At least it's ABC.
3 minutes and 50 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. Florida with a golden opportunity getting away from them on a brilliant goal line stand by Nebraska. Now Nebraska starting to move. Terry Luck back to throw. His first effort. He goes short. The pass bounces in front of the intended receiver. Incomplete. It was Rich Ball.
You know, David might have lost confidence in his passing game, Keith. You know, that was a poorly thrown ball. He underthrew him about 10 yards. He's not that kind of quarterback. He's a fine quarterback, but he's just got that cold night.
Hum on the night before he left in favor of Luck. 2 out of 12 for 16 yards and 4 interceptions. Anthony, the tailback. Davis, the fullback. To the Westbrook on that little reverse inside, almost fumbled it away, gets it back, and it's a first down Nebraska at the Florida 49.
At least he's consistent. He's run it twice, broken it twice, and he's fumbled both times. But he got that one back, Keith.
Here's another look at it.
Here he goes on the reverse. Fine job. Great block with a tight end coming across from the linebacker. And of course, he was able to catch the ball with a fumble in midair.
The deepest drive Nebraska's had was to the Florida 45 before they gave up the ball. Gave it up on a fumble on that particular occasion. Here's Luck coming down the line on the option, turns it in. He's inside the 45 to about the 44. Vernon Barber, the stop for the Gators. At 2:55 to play in the third quarter.
Second and 5. It's a big play. Good yardage on 1st and 10. They got control of it right now. I wonder if...
Well, I'll tell you, if Nebraska takes it 99.5 yards for a touchdown, look out.
We'll have us a ball game on it. Pitch sweep.
Anthony. He's got 2 to the 42.
You know, I wonder if they're automatic in that. You know, that secondary of Florida is rolling up at the last minute to the wide side of the field, Keith. They're cheating over, and the corners loosening some, the safety moving over. And I wonder if maybe they're not automatic into that play.
I tell you, it's a Johnny hot spot for Terry Luck to be thrust into, though, but he's handled his assignment very well, hasn't he?
Right.
All plays except one have been on the ground. Third down. And about 3 from the 42 of Florida. It's Davis.
He's got it, I believe.
Tony's got the first down.
I believe that was a trap, Keith.
They stop the clock, ask for the chop. They don't either. They take a good look and wave first down. All right, 1:41 to go in the third quarter. And let's talk about the psychology of the moment here with Barry Switzer, head man of the Oklahoma Sooners. You got a brand new quarterback in there, and Terry Luck. You suddenly stop the other team when it seemed sure they'd score, and now you're on the move yourself. What can this do to a football team, Barry?
Well, I tell you, football is momentum, Keith, and of course, no question right now, if they take this in, Nebraska will have it and have a lot of it. And only being behind 3 points as explosive as they are, they've got a chance to beat anyone in the country. And, but they haven't put the 7 on the board. They've had a long, impressive drive right now. They've controlled the football. Florida's still playing good defense, but, you know, they still got 35 yards to go, and anything can happen. But if they get it in, we're going to see a heck of a football game.
The football is resting at the 36-yard line of Florida. It is 2nd down and 7 for Nebraska.
Spread formation.
Inside a minute to go in the third quarter. That's Davis. He's got a first down as he bullies it down to the 24-yard line. Alvin Cowens dragged him down. 12-yard gain, and the Huskers keep moving it on the ground.
I think that Tony took that personal in. I think he's mad. He credit that guy right in the mouth. That guy's a competitor.
He's 5'11". He's a 214-pound junior. He is from Tecumseh, and there was never any doubt in his mind where he was going to go to college.
Tecumseh, Oklahoma, or Nebraska?
Nebraska. First down, Huskers at the 24 of Florida. It's Davis again, and just absolutely tearing his way through behind the block of Fonis and Allward.
Well, they've already come 80-something yards, Keith.
12-yard pickup for Tony Davis. The Cornhuskers have a first down just inside the Florida 13-yard line.
Don't take that guy out of there unless he's hurt. Equipment problem. Tony Davis on the sideline.
Higgs is the fullback replacing it with 3, 2, 1 second to play. Time expires in the third quarter. So we've got 15 minutes of football to play here at the Sugar Bowl. And Florida still leads it 10-0. Well, here we go to the final 15 minutes of this Sugar Bowl game, the 41st Football Classic in New Orleans, Nebraska with a football. First down just inside the Florida 13-yard line. What a dramatic swing we've had in the closing moments of the third quarter. And now with 15 minutes to go, let's see what happens. Terry Luck is now in at quarterback for Nebraska. Here's the pitch to Monty Anthony. He's caught at about the 11-yard line and shoved back. 78 Griffith is there.
Backside pursuit got him right there. I thought they were going to make more on the play. Looks like he had a lot of good blockers in front of him then, Keith, and backside pursuit number 78 made the play.
David Hum, standing on the sidelines, had a frustrating night, by far the worst of his career. And Terry Luck now has moved the Nebraska football team from 1/2 yard away from his own goal line down to the 11-yard line, where it is second down and 8 yards to go, and they hand it inside to the fullback. And Gary Higgs hounds along. Now it's Davis back in. Tony Davis, having had some equipment repair, is back in there. And this drive really has belonged to Davis.
Terry Luck is having some good luck right now, Keith. Coming off 3 knee operations, being a second-team quarterback, and coming in a situation that I know is a second-teamer. I wouldn't want to go out there and have to try to take a team from behind 10 points, 99 yards. But he has done a tremendous job, and let's see if he can do it and go all the way.
So far, they've had 16 plays, used 8 minutes and 10 seconds on the clock. Luck coming down the line, turns inside, dives. He's close to his first down. He took it from just outside the 6.
Fine play on the option. Here comes the fullback, tight end in the ball game. We'll have 2 tight ends, I believe. They took the wing, taking the wing back out. Bob will probably go with 2 I formation, 2 tight ends here on short. First and 10. First and goal.
Oh. Ball is just outside the 2 rather. That's 7 first downs in the drive, 16 plays, 8 minutes plus in controlling the ball, and first and goal just outside the 2. Anthony! Touchdown! You have to go all the way back into the 3rd quarter for this story. Florida looked like they had a touchdown as Green came up with a spectacular run. Everybody here thought it was a touchdown. Didn't get it. Nebraska held him and moved 99.5 yards for the touchdown. And here's another look as Anthony goes over the top for the 6. And the Huskers are finally on the board.
You talk about momentum now, Keith. You're going to see how Nebraska plays defense.
Coyle for the extra point. It's good. We have 13 minutes and 24 seconds to play in the football game. And what a game we got going now as Florida leads Nebraska by 3. On that touchdown drive of 99-plus yards, 18 plays, 8 minutes and 46 seconds, 7 first downs, Anthony scoring it, but Tony Davis picked up 52 of those 99 yards, and he was off the field to play for 2 plays in the drive.
Got them all on the ground.
Here's the kick. It goes to Tony Green, who fumbles at the 10, falls down at the 12, and look out. Here is a football team from Lincoln, Nebraska that's been through the Brambles in many, many cases, looking for their 6th consecutive bowl victory.
Now, right here, Keith, will determine the momentum factor in the ball game. Nebraska can play great defense right here, stop them, which they haven't been able to do without a first and 10, force the punt. Nebraska is coming back at you. You know, Tom Osborne said they believe they can win. They're winners. They've got a great tradition at the University of Nebraska. They've kept their poise. They demonstrated that in the last series.
Gaffney, the quarterback, gives to Dubose over the right side. He takes it from the 12 to the 16-yard line. He picked up 4 yards, maybe a little more. John Lee and Ron Pruitt made the tackle for Nebraska. Third quarter statistics now begin to swing in favor, certainly in rushing it does, but very close now in total yardage. Only 11 yards separating them. A handoff to the fullback, and he's hammered as he comes up to the 19-yard line. No, make it the 18-yard line. He's got to go to just beyond the 21 for the first down. In the middle of the fracas, John Lee, 6-9.
Fine play by Lee here. He slanted to the right, and they happened to run the fullback play and tried to cut back on him, but he made the play. It's a 3rd and 3 here. This is the biggest play of the ball game right now for Nebraska.
Gaffney gives to Green. They got him.
Touch the football.
Mark Hydorf and Tom Pate ran him out of bounds, and Florida's got to cough it up now and give Nebraska field position.
believe that's the first time in a long time, Keith, that Nebraska's been able to stop them without a 1st and 10 and force a punt. That's a big play for them. Let's see if we can move the ball on offense, Nebraska.
Buster Morrison needs a big kick here. Got a little bit of wind in his back, not much. Ball hangs. Burrow takes it at the 43. Slides out of bounds at the Florida 49-yard line. May back him up around the 50. 38-yard punt, 8-yard return. And Florida 10, Nebraska 7. We'll be right back. You see reflected there on your television screen the 10-year history of Nebraska with 91 wins. That's more than any other team in the country has won. So these guys know what it's all about. The whole organization at Nebraska knows how to win, and success breeds success in so many cases. Let's see what Florida can do now. The Gators are up against it. They lead by 3, but here comes Nebraska, and they stay with their primary tool in that long touchdown march, Tony Davis, as Terry Luck remains at the quarterback position.
They were in the spread formation that time, Keith. I think maybe they went to it feeling like they'll soften up in the middle, but they ran the face play to the fullback. Made very little yardage.
Davis gains 2. O'Leary comes in at the I-back position, but O'Leary now moves up into a wing on the left side. Give it to O'Leary on that counter inside, and he slices in over the right side behind Crenshaw and Heckner. And he reaches the 43-yard line before they get him. So now Nebraska's going to be looking at 3rd down and about 4.
You think they'll go for it 4th down? Up short here, Keith? 3rd and 4?
I wouldn't think so.
3rd and long 4?
I wouldn't think so.
Depends on how short it is. It'll be inside the 40. 11 minutes, I believe they kick it.
Polito wide to the left. Got him at about the 41.
They got a decision to make.
They're going to be about a yard and a half from the 1st down, just shy of the 40. Sammy Green made that tackle for Florida. 10 minutes.
Sammy Green.
10 minutes and 30 seconds to play in the football game. They got the better part of 2 yards, Barry.
4th and 2, right up inside there where the ball games are won, and the offensive and defensive line, they've got a heck of a battle going on with Barnes and Sammy Green to find those guards of Florida.
And they're going to go for it on 4th and a short 2. The crowd comes up. Anthony! He's got it. He's got the 1st down for Nebraska.
Oh, I'm glad I'm up here instead on the sideline. No, I don't really mean that. I wish we were playing.
I'll tell you, Wayne Fields, the monster man for Florida, came flying in trying to plug that hole, and he got there just a fraction late.
They had to do a good job of blocking them because Florida was stacked up inside. They had 9 people right up on the line of scrimmage, and they just butted them out of there for 2 yards and got the 1st.
At the Florida 38-yard line, 1st down, Cornhuskers. Davis, trap play. Davis down to the 32-yard line. So he goes from the 38 to the 32 for a big 6-yard gain on the 1st down play. And for those of you who have not heard it on a New Year's Eve, Catfish Hunter is a wealthy man. He signed 5 years with the New York Yankees for a reported $3.7 million total package. So happy New Year. Jim, now go and do some serious hunting. 2nd down, 4 yards to go at the 32-yard line of Florida. The Cornhuskers are on the move, bidding for the lead. It's Davis again. And Tony Davis is playing football like a wild man here in the 2nd half. He gained 10 yards.
Boy, you think that guy's not a competitor? He's excited. He's fighting to win this football game. I wish we had him line him up in the wishbone, hand him the ball about 30 times a game. I believe he can play all right there, Keith. Playing all right in this formation.
We move inside 9 minutes to go in a football game. Davis, 10 carries, 70 yards in this half alone. It's 1st down for the Cornhuskers at the Florida 22-yard line. Davis again. He gets a couple of yards before 4 or 5 blue shirts can drop him.
They tried, excuse me, Keith, they tried to fake the pitch sweep to the tight end that side, then hand the ball off and quick play their fullback off their pitch sweep series.
Remind you that 4 Eastern time this coming Saturday over most of these ABC stations. The Hula Bowl from Honolulu, Hawaii. East and West. Great football players in that one. 2nd down and 8. Luck delivers the ball. And Alvin Butler comes in and cuts the feet from under Higgs.
There's a great play by that defensive corner. The lead block for Nebraska missed him, and he beat him to the outside, made a fine play. They're lucky they didn't even fumble the football right then.
No gain on the play. It's 3rd down and 8. Ball just short of the 20. And the clock continues to tick along. 7:35 to go in the game. Florida 10, Nebraska 7. What a dramatic turnaround we had.
You think this will be Luck's second pass?
Could be. 3rd and 8. Here come the Gators, blitzing. He gets it off. It is not the side. Great play by Vernon Barber, number 52.
The rush pressured him. If he was able to throw it over that linebacker, Westbrook would have been there, and I think we might have had a touchdown.
Oh, my goodness.
4th down and 8. They got to kick it and see if we can get a tie ball game.
We've reflected back to what Tom Osborne said when he came out of the locker room, but we've also should remember what Doug Dickey said at the close of the first half when he said his team would have to overcome adversity. All right, here is Mike Coyle, number 42, in trying to tie it up from 37 yards. He got it!
That's one of those low shots right there.
Mike Coyle knocked a driving knuckleball through, and we're even at 10-10 with 7:12 to play in the game.
The Sugar Bowl is one of the classic bowl games, and Nebraska is honored to be playing in it. But this stadium could well be empty next year or the year after if we don't help the president and ourselves in saving our energy resources. All sports have joined President Ford's WIN campaign, and one way we can help is through saving fuel. Make use of carpools, buses, and public transportation when going to a game or to work. You'll find it saves fuel and saves money, and these days we need to.
Well, the Big Red folks are happy. Oh, I'll tell you, they're dancing in the aisles, and here are the Cornhuskers kicking it off. The score is tied at 10-10, and it is Jim Richards returning it for Florida. Look out, he gets it all the way back to the 37-yard line, a 25-yard return before Tom Pate brings him down. And when all is said and done and this football game is over tonight, remember that name, Pate, because old Tom has played himself a heck of a ball game.
Nebraska gives Florida another test here, Keith. Last time Florida had the ball, it was the first time they had not made a first down since midway in the 2nd quarter. They're going to give them a test right here and see how they do.
All right, the Gators in the wishbone. The ball goes to Dubos, the fullback. And Lee, number 69, the middle guard, is right there to plug the hole. He got some help. I'm looking for the number of the other man.
I believe Lee slanted to the weak side, the tight end, and ran around and made the play from behind. It's a fine play by him.
It's Martin. Martin helped him out. So it's gain of about a yard on the play. And it's 2nd down and 9 with 6 minutes and 35 seconds to play in the football game. And we're all even at 10-10. Back to throw. Whips it to the sidelines to Green. Green's got 2 white shirts with him. Scoots along the sidelines and got quite a bit out of it, didn't he? He may have made a first down.
The guy's got a little more quickness, people trying to hem him up over there.
He did get a first down as he took the football out beyond the 47-yard line. So they move the chains and stop the clock at 6:13. Might remind you, when your partying is done, you want to sit back and relax over the weekend, I can tell you right where to do it, right in front of your television set over most of these ABC stations. We start with the Hula Bowl on ABC's Wide World of Sports at 4 Eastern. The Superstars begin on next Sunday. Here's here comes Gaffney down the line, tries to turn it inside, carrying that football like a loaf of bread. That's a very good way to lose it.
Great pursuit from Nebraska there on the option play. They got a bunch of white jerseys right to the football then. It was a little scary, wasn't it?
Hydorf was the man that got him, a senior out of La Crescenta, California. I don't see any gain at all on the play. This ball is right on the 47-yard line.
Watch the draw play again. Break the formation.
2nd down and 10 for Florida. Darby, the tight end, jumped, and it'll be a procedure call here against Florida. The Superstars, first round of the men's preliminary competition begins on Sunday over most of these ABC stations at 2 Eastern, 1 Central, and Pacific time. We start off with the men. Then we come back in 2 weeks on the 19th with women in competition from Houston. Then we'll go back to the men's. We also have a super team competition, and you'll see celebrities. And the total prize money in the Superstars this year for everybody, $750,000. Super teams made up of representatives of the World Series and Super Bowl teams. And here's the handoff to Tony Green.
The draw play.
And the draw play doesn't work much, does it?
They've had
On
some
2nd down and 15, he gained about a yard. Brinson, number 39, in the backfield now for Florida. 5 minutes to play in the football game. Nebraska, red hot, turned the game around with a 99.5-yard march, culminating in the early moments of the 4th quarter. Gaffney trying to throw, gets shirt tail, runs out of his shirt, gets called down up at the 49-yard line. He is short of the first down, and the Gators will have to give up the ball.
He nearly broke that one.
He ran right out of his shirt, didn't he?
I wonder if they got tear-away jerseys. No, they did.
So the clock continues to go as Florida will punt in a 10-10 ball game. Buster Morrison, who stands very close to the line of scrimmage, closer than most, gets his kick off. Good hanging kick. Angles for the sidelines and knocks it out of bounds. He didn't get a whole lot on it. He had a lot of distance on it, but he knocked it out at about the 25-yard line. 4:08 to play in the game. We're even at 10. The Nebraska Cornhuskers have the football, first down, at their own 25-yard line. Terry Luck comes in at quarterback, and Terry Luck has become quite a story in the second half of this football game for Nebraska. He is a junior, so he has a year to go, Mr. Barry Switzer of Oklahoma.
This kind of reminds you of last year in the Cotton Bowl when Nebraska played. Steve Runny came in for Hum and won the ball game.
Florida defense now is going to be tested right here. They counter it back to Westbrook, the wingback, and he's got 3, maybe 4. Ortega, the tackle for Florida.
We've got 3 minutes, 3:50. We've got plenty of time to go score. They don't have to throw. Keep their poise.
3:40 to play in the football game. 10-10 tie. 2nd down, 6. Tony Davis is open and on the move. And there goes Tony. He goes 41 yards. First down, Nebraska at the Florida 31. Alvin Cowens brought him down. Not only has Terry Luck been a story in the second half, but so has Tony Davis.
They fake the sweep again into the tight end, handed the fullback, and great run here for Tony Davis. Doesn't have great speed, but he's a fine runner. Very great competitor. The guy loves to win.
In the second half, Davis has carried the ball 12 times for 112 yards. First down, Nebraska at the Florida 31. It's Anthony. Cuts it back to the 29-yard line for a 2-yard pickup. The American Sportsman this Sunday, 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central and Pacific time over most of these ABC stations. Robert Redford narrates a story about the Tundra Wolf. And on ABC's Wide World of Sports on This Sunday, the premier program offers the World Heavyweight Championship fight between Muhammad Ali and George Foreman. Second down and 8 yards to go. Nebraska, Florida, 29-yard line. It's Anthony again. He's to the 25-yard line. He picked up 4.5 yards before Hutchison and Cameron make the tackle. Davis had gone out. He's on the sidelines right now. Tom Osborne, the Nebraska coach, with 2 minutes and 15 seconds to play in the game, calling time. There has never been a tie in the Sugar Bowl. We are even right now at 10-10 between Nebraska and Florida with 2:15 to go, and the Huskers are moving. The football is sitting at the Florida 25-yard line, just inside it. Third down and 4. In a 10-10 tie with 2 minutes and 15 seconds to play in the game. Terry Luck, the quarterback. He gives the ball to John O'Leary, runs it back in the middle. And he's short of the first down. He gets to about the 22. He'll be a yard, maybe a little more, from his first down. At this point, Coach Barry Switzer of Oklahoma, I would suggest Nebraska has established physical superiority.
They've got the big play coming up here. You remember Florida's in a situation about like this a while ago on the 1-yard line, 4th down and 1. Nebraska calls timeout here, and they face the same situation.
1 minute and 53 seconds to play in the ball game. Here, the 41st Sugar Bowl Football Classic. Nebraska has 1 timeout remaining. Terry Luck gone to the sidelines to talk to Tom Osborne. The Professional Bowlers Tour begins its 14th year of live coverage on ABC television this Saturday from Alameda, California, the $60,000 ARC Alameda Open. And Dick Weber joins Chris Schenkel for the Professional Bowlers Tour this year on ABC, 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 Central, and 4 Pacific time over most of these ABC stations.
I believe they're going to kick it, Keith.
Well, it's 4th down. They have the better part of a yard and a half for the first down. So they're not going to risk not making the first down. Instead, we'll go for a 39-yard field goal. And Mike Coyle made a 37-yard field goal to tie the game. He kicks out of Luck's hole. 39 yards. I think he's got it. He did. Nebraska takes the lead, 13-10.
A little different emotion on the sidelines now, isn't it? The white jerseys are happy and cheering. The blue ones have got the test to come with them now.
Only a minute and 46 seconds to play, and Nebraska leads by 3. Well, I'll tell you, it's been a spectacular football game. Florida missing an opportunity to take a 17-0 lead, had Nebraska come pounding back 99.5 yards, and now the Gators trail by 3. Reverse. And it's Henry Davis on a reverse, and it does not work. Cletus Pillen, number 61, destroyed the attempted reverse by Florida, and the Gators now, with a minute and 42 seconds, are in trouble at their 10-yard line. Here's the field goal kick by Coyle, and look, he didn't really make it with a whole lot of breathing room, did he?
It counts, though.
Counts, right. As long as it's inside, it counts. All right, Gaffney being chased. Davis tries to throw the ball and apparently got his arm forward, trying to get it over to an eligible receiver, Jim Richards, number 31. And it goes as an incomplete pass. It was Ron Pruitt of Nebraska who put the pressure on him. Gaffney now is 4 out of 8 in passing for 79 yards.
I think they called him down on that, Keith. They moved the ball back second and about 10.5. He was probably on the ground before he tried to pass.
Looked like it. So he backed it up from the 10 to very close to the 9. Uh-oh. He runs away from the chase. Now he breaks it out.
That guy can scramble.
Gets it up to the 14. Clock running with a minute to play in the game. Florida has 2 timeouts remaining. They're going to try to get another playoff here. They've got Tony Green way wide to the left, out of your picture. I thought they moved. Green up in the secondary was wide open, dropped the ball. Tony had it right in his hands with 43 seconds to play and dropped it. And Tony Davis of Nebraska has been announced as the most valuable player of the game.
That's no surprise, is it, Keith?
No, sirree.
He's turned his second half around. That's the Nebraska I know this last 30 minutes, Keith.
Davis, 17 carries, 124 yards. And 112 of those yards in the second half on 12 carries. It is fourth down for Florida. They need 6 yards for a first down with 43 seconds to play. Gaffney will try to throw again. He goes to the short man. The pass is caught up at the 31-yard line by McGriff. That'll stop the clock as they move the chains up. 35 seconds to play in the football game. Gators trying to get up to the line of scrimmage and get set for a play without having to spend a timeout. 35 seconds. All right, that'll start the clock now. 30 seconds. After the throw. Can't get it off. Almost lost the football. With 21 seconds to play in the game, Florida calls time, and Gaffney needs a new shirt. So unless lightning really strikes here for the Florida Gators on second down and 15, Tom Osborne will go to a happy locker room with his Nebraska Cornhuskers, having won the ball game 13-10. But they worked for it.
Tony Davis might be the most valuable player in the ball game, Keith, but I think Mike Coles had something to do with it, too. 2 pressure field goals.
And I give somebody on that Nebraska coaching staff, perhaps it was Tom Osborne, perhaps it was some member of the staff who might have said, let's keep it on the ground. Let's take it to them. Let's go at them the old-fashioned way, and that's exactly how they won the ball game.
That's exactly right. They won it on the ground in the second half, rushing the football. They came out in the ball game trying to throw the football. In the second half, they had statistics like we usually have in the passing game. They didn't complete a pass. They threw only 3 and had 1 intercepted. Sounds like they're running the wishbone.
.21 seconds to play in this 41st Sugar Bowl Football Classic. It's been a good one. 13-10, Nebraska. They go into a deep prevent defense.
3-man rush got to him.
The 3-man rush led by John Lee, 69, Mike Foltz, 72. Down goes Gaffney. The clock running, 10 seconds remaining, and Florida spends its last timeout. Well, I tell you, we've talk about the offensive people consistently, and the big guys up front very seldom get the kind of credit deserved. But the people up in front on that Nebraska offensive line, the defense has been pretty obvious here in the second half. But up front, it's been Doak, Allward, Bonis, Hegner, Crenshaw, Mushinski, and Brad Jenkins in at tight end. Tony Davis carrying the ball in the second half, remarkable. 12 carries, 112 yards, 17 for the ball game and 124 yards. Davis can't do it by himself, no question about it, though he did rip and snort and tear when he got loose into that secondary. The Pro Bowlers Tour starts off the weekend on ABC and most of these ABC stations this coming weekend from Alameda, California, and this year Dick Weber joins host Chris Schenkel for the Professional Bowlers Tour. And also on Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports, we'll be in Hawaii for the Hula Bowl. And our airship, Goodyear Blimp, the Mayflower. Moving along over the Sugar Bowl, this may be the last play of the football game as Gaffney throws it as far as he can downfield, and it is picked off by Hydorf of Nebraska.
Don't fumble the ball.
And the ball game is over as Hydorf brings it all the way back to the Florida 33-yard line, and the Cornhuskers leap with joy as they defeat the Florida Gators 13-10.
Chris, Keith, what a ball game. You think I'm excited, Keith? Hey, look at Nebraska, not as nearly as excited as Nebraska. Well, that's a great victory for him. Down 10-0, come back the second half, 2 pressure field goals in the running of Tony Davis.
Davis, the most valuable player, will receive his award momentarily from Marshall David, the chairman of the executive committee. The winning team trophy for the Cornhuskers will be presented by Cliff Kern Jr., who is the president of the Midwinter Sports Association, that stages the Sugar Bowl here in the city of New Orleans, Louisiana. We'd like to thank all of these gentlemen. Sam Cornsweat didn't take time to run them all down, but they've been most gracious to all of us. And Joe Katz, the executive director of the Sugar Bowl Classic, with Cliff Kern serving as the president. It made our stay most pleasant. We're delighted to have had Barry Switzer of Oklahoma as our guest commentator, and I'll see you in the Hula Bowl on Saturday.
Right, Keith, I leave tomorrow for the Hula Bowl. And, you know, I'll get off the plane in Honolulu, and I'll not know the score of that game they play tomorrow night in Miami, unless the pilots tell me.
I imagine that word will be passed around.
I think I'll go up front and ask them if they've heard the score.
Okay, our final score here at the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, Louisiana, on a warm, soft evening, 13-10. And for all of us at ABC Sports involved in our presentation of collegiate football and all of the events that are coming up for you in the first quarter of the year, the Professional Bowlers Tour, the American Sportsman, all of the entertainment factors that we have planned for you, we wish you the merriest of the holidays, a happy new year, and a most prosperous 1975. The executive producer of ABC Sports is Roone Arledge. Tonight's coverage of the 41st Annual Sugar Bowl produced by Chuck Howard. Directed by Andy Sedaris. Our technical director, John Allen. Our associate producer, Dorrance Smith. Our associate director, Roger Goodman. And now this is Keith Jackson along with Barry Switzer, Jim Lampley, Don Tollefson saying so long from the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, Louisiana. Them provided by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. Travel arrangements made through and promotional fee paid by United Airlines. There is a new spirit, a new look in the friendly skies. Catch the spirit of friendship service. Once again, the final score. Nebraska 13, Florida 10. The preceding a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.